Just so everyone knows, this meeting is being visually and audio recorded.
All right, okay, well, okay, Michael, 6:31. And we're gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. And let's start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Michael, we're going to send the prayer.
Lord, we thank you that we're able to, for all those who came out to the district and that they get home safely, that we all get home safely after this meeting. We ask that everyone be heard, everyone be respected, and that we conduct a business for the district, for the overall the district. We thank you very, 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 very much for the rain. We could definitely keep it using it, and we owe it all to you in your name. Amen. That's what
All right, okay, well, we want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's good to see a lot of faces that we, that we're familiar with, and new faces that we're not. And we really appreciate every time y'all take the time out of your daily lives to come to one of these meetings. And so thank you very, very much for being here. We'll start with public comment. Members of the public wishing to comment during the meeting must register on the sign-in sheet at the meeting site prior to the start of the meeting, or by emailing info@christmasclearsvb.org prior to the meeting. Please state your name prior to making a public comment. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. The board of directors will not ask questions or cannot take action during public comment regarding public comments on items not on the agenda. Responses from the board of directors are limited to factual statements, resuscitation of existing district rules or policies, or requests by a director for the subject matter to be placed on a future agenda as required by the Texas Government Code 551.042. Public comment for items on the agenda may be made at this time or when the agenda item is taken up. Okay, all right, so we'll go ahead and start with Mrs. Teresa Garcia.
Hello, right here.
Yes, that's fine.
All right. Hi to everybody. I'm Teresa Garcia. You heard my voice on the call Tuesday whenever we were talking about this with a certain individual in the room. I'm the one who used all the profanity. Hi, nice to meet you. So I am here today because, well, we've already tried this hearing before. I already tried to stop this data center that was happening. We spoke about it. We all gave our comments on Tuesday to commissioners. That failed, obviously, but you people are next on the list. Okay. I am here because, well, actually, this judge right here said to me himself that I'm the single most informed person that he's ever heard speak on this. So I'd be a little more flattered if you actually listened to what I had to say. But you might notice I'm not speaking with any notes because I know what I'm talking about. I work in a tech program in a tech company. My company protects AI liabilities. So it's literally my job to pay attention to this industry and its projections. And they are going down the toilet, okay? AI is failing. It's not being adapted in workplaces as fast as people thought that it would. It's not a popular product. In fact, it's a poisonous product. And investors are shifting their money, their funds away from that, going back to human employees, all that stuff. The entire bubble is about to burst. So in 10 years, which is when we are allegedly going to receive any money in tax revenue from this, it's not going to happen. Any financial promises that were made to make this all stuff happen, to start all these constructions, are not going to be fulfilled. Any financial promises that are made to y'all are not going to be fulfilled for the next 10 years. The entire thing is about to collapse. Now, we tried, and what you're going to hear is all these people are here because if they are talking to him, you guys are next. You as a water company, imagine that, have the opportunity to be the good guys. You can put a stop to this in any means necessary that you have. Deny permits, whatever it might be. I am offering you all the glowing opportunity to be the heroes in this. Every single one of these people is going to be here to share facts and data. I'm going to let them do that, okay? Listen to it in the minds that all of these people are extremely desperate right now. And when what we all know is going to happen happens, when we all run out of water, whose heads are going to be next on the chopping block? You have an opportunity to prevent all of this. It is way, way harder to fix an error later than it is to prevent it altogether. I sure wish the judge knew that. Anyway, so listen to all these people, please, with that in mind.
Thank you. Y'all haven't noticed, we got a fancy new system, and I kept messing up the alarm last few meetings, so now Michael took control of it, I appreciate that. Mr. Matt Garrison is next.
I'd rather wait and speak during, following the discussion on the high volume usage.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kelly Bosa.
Thank you. Hi again. Gonna keep mine very, very short. I appreciate seeing the item on there. I ask that we remember that the primary purpose of this water supply operation was to serve people, not necessarily irrigation, nor data centers, nor huge users. And I appreciate item 4 and B4 that large volume users may be required to pay larger amounts. And I think I wish you every Godspeed in going forward with that. And I ask that you keep in mind that all of the pre-planning also should be paid by the potential users. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Patrick? Is it Sean? Jay?
Patrick Chang.
Clay?
Maybe it's two people. It's Patrick and. Charlton, I think.
Do we have any Patrick?
Or Grace? Is there, or Grace? I'll come back.
Yes, sir.
I'll come back. Kara Vincent and kids.
And kids.
Hello,
Hi.
we are Kara Finlayson and kids, Jesse, Rosebud, and Alice. We are here also representing our homeschooling co-op named Stewards of Life. And we are just here to thank you for considering adding the regulations and making those more restrictive. We want to support you in that and say the more restrictive, the better. Because the companies that we are going to be dealing with here don't have any regard for human life or our land. They don't care. They're not out there watering by hand all of these little baby plants that they planted from seed. They're not collecting rainwater with old yogurt containers instead of throwing them in the garbage. So we really want you to just all out say no and just go ahead and declare the drought so that there are no new users. Actually, that's what we would really like. And I want to also mention that we had a major leak. We are serviced by Crystal Clear. Thank y'all for the water. We had a major leak going on. And nobody noticed it except for me. And I had to be the one to pay over $2,000 to get that leak taken care of. And I've got my eye on it, right? So like, I care. These folks that we are going to be dealing with, the data center, well, there aren't even going to be humans there. So they won't know if there's a problem. I'm just saying that y'all are only responsible for monitoring leaks on your side and taking responsibility for those things. I'm saying that I'm a homeowner that cares and wasn't able to properly monitor my own leak. So I'm just saying that I doubt that these people are going to be responsible with the water. And it's blatant, you know, it's written down. They're going to be using chemicals, putting chemicals in the water, and then putting it back out into our creeks. We also live on a ski lake, Guadalupe Skiplex, and we pump water out of your creek. So that's a lot of water that's going to be affected by any kind of wastewater coming from a giant data center that's been proposed right next to our area. My children swim in that lake every day. And all of the children that come through our community, we try to be very kind and caring and generous with that land that we have and that water that we have. So we've got a lot of bodies moving through it. I need y'all to please do everything you can to restrict these kinds of companies from accessing the water. Thank you so much. And also, if y'all need fundraising to get more money, we're in. Let us know, okay?
Sorry, I knew that one.
Oh, and Rose said I had a gift for you. Sorry. This is lemon balm. Very soothing for the nervous system. She decorated it with flowers from our garden, which are also edible. All flowers are edible, guys. All parts of it, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Evelyn Avery?
It's Evelyn Avery. Answering to that, sir, right now.
I'll come back. Janet, Barkmeyer? Oh, okay,
I'm just quiet.
okay.
Thank you for coming, Rose.
John Booth.
I'd like to address the rules and regs that are on the agenda today. It looks like the committee has addressed page 6, 7, 18, 19, 22, 29, 40, 44, and 52. The one they seem to miss, which was an important issue a few months back, is page 28, the grievance timeline. The board of directors are not held to a timeline. If staff, the grievance goes from customer service up through the positions and makes it to the board does not have a timeline to reply with their decision. There was a customer that waited almost 6 months after the board's decision. I think that's something that the Rules and Regs Committee and this board should address and try to quantify that response. Another issue I got is the draft or the water loss report. It appears according to the unidentified annual average, crystal clear last month was 20.9%. If you do January, February, and March and use the identified loss, it was 33.7, 34.77, 32.16 for a first quarter average of 33.56. I don't think running an average for over 2 years represents how much water we are losing on a monthly basis. I'd like to see that revised because you guys brought in 85 million gallons and you lost 31 million gallons, which represents 38.11%. That's a lot of product to lose. As a businessman, I'd be out of business.
That's it. Thank you, Mr. Green. Next up, Mrs. Abigail Lynch.
I'm sorry, I just trying to calm myself down. There's someone in the. Anyway. Good evening. It's been a hard week. In case you didn't know, Progress Data Center received their tax abatements and development agreement from Guadalupe County Commissioners Court. And that's been hard. So crystal clear SUV really needs to step up, and I believe y'all can. Regarding item 4A, drought conditions and water supply portfolio, I know some of you wanted some changes for the restrictions in stage 4, which I think is appropriate for single family homes regarding new meters. We have received some rain, which is wonderful, but right now the 10-day average for Edwards Aquifer J17 well index is still at 629.9 feet, and Comal Springs 10-day average is 73 cubic feet per second, which still meets stage 4 trigger. I'm looking forward to hearing the next steps. I support any measures Crystal Clear is taking regarding updating the rules and regulations for large volume water users, agenda items 4B4. I really do appreciate the board members and the general manager. I've been frustrated with some of you, but at the end of the day, all of you are part of this community, and I know the job you are doing is hard. I want you to know that you have my support. My only goal in all of this is for transparency and the truth to be available to your customers, and for us to have clean drinking water at the end of the day. The industry coming into your CCN is not for the public. It's about money and how much they can take away from us and get away with it. I keep coming here because I care and you have my support. Now, one more thing. When I was here on April 13th at the board meeting that didn't end up being a board meeting, I was disappointed in how the attorney, Howard, you conducted yourself. I'm not sure what the goal was. Maybe you wanted to prove a point to the board members that were here and make them look silly. All that did for me is reinforce my opinion of your law firm. I'll be honest, I've been coming here since February of last year, and I couldn't stand your predecessor. I left that meeting thinking, wow, he needs to be fired because he is not in the game. He's not fighting for Crystal Clear. He has his own agenda. He's stuck in the mud. Get rid of him. You're acting like him, but just a younger version. Crystal Clear is your client. They pay you, we pay them, and so you really need to step up to the plate. Think outside the box. Rules and regulations, you got to step up. You got to make new ones. Nothing changes, okay? So if you don't want to do it, step aside, let someone else do it. Thank you.
This is Jennifer.
My honest assessment of the outcome of the vote of the Guadalupe County Commissioners Court were 3 of those men had their pockets lined by the data center developers, and gave a big middle finger to Guadalupe County. All of you look more honest than those. Please show us that tonight. We all support any restrictions you can implement on large users. We are here for you. Y'all feel like our community. What was happening on Tuesday at the Commissioners Court was disgusting and blatant. To walk away from millions of dollars to a county when they had just gotten millions of dollars from the data center. Okay, we're here for y'all. Thank you.
Eric. Paul. Colton Bach.
I didn't say anything about speaking, but I'll just say something.
No, sorry.
That's no problem. Are we in a severe drought in this district? If we,
Yes.
I don't know where we can add somebody to drag more water out when I live in Navarro Ranch and it's exploded to 3,000 homes now and only half of that's built. And then their data centers coming in and it's going to add more stress on an already stressed water system. That's all. I only moved to the area a few years ago. I had no clue that water was going to be this expensive, and I'm sure everybody knows about that. It's just expensive. You're going to add this data centers, you're going to add more money from our pockets. That's all. And I know we're in a severe drought area anyway, so I just don't see how we can accommodate that water usage from a large data center. That's just that's it. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. Justin, was it Peru or Perrin?
It's Perkins, that's crappy handwriting. I'll keep it short and sweet and give these other people their time. I think that the sentiment is shared across the board as a resident here, and I'm new, like the other gentleman said. We've been here for 2 years. The concern is, what is the overall impact of water tables? We ride down the road from New Braunfels and other cities further up the river that are already being affected by this, and ones further south that are further affected. I don't know what authority you have or what powers you have to impact it. I would push with the citizens who've lived there their whole lives and implore you to be the David against the Goliath that we need. I'm going to assume positive intent for the people that chose to vote the way they did, because that's what the good book says to do. I say that to say, though, that it also says that in times of grave need, sometimes you need somebody else to stand up for you. And it seems like y'all are that resource at this moment. And I say it more for them. I'll be completely honest with you. My house isn't built yet. I can sell my land and move if it comes to the worst case scenario. And that's not a I don't want to do that. We love this community. I'm going to be a business owner here. I love the people, the baseball community, everything. And I'm sure there's probably some people who I may not like at one point, but I haven't met a person I haven't at least enjoyed the company of yet. So I ask you to do that, even if whatever the restrictions may be, and I already no longer not planning to, but they say they're only going to use 24,000 gallons a day is the proposed number. That's 50 per person of employee that they're proposing to work. That's more than a household for one person that they're doing. I'd like to know if there's ways that you can block or monitor if we can make sure they don't use more water. Are there hard caps? Are there extreme penalties? If they continue to utilize or overuse, are there ways to ensue bigger penalties on them by doing that? The reason I say that is because these centers have extremely high profit margin. Their EBITDAs are very low. Everything across the board business-wise makes them a very good business to invest in for big money investors, not for the rest of us. So if that is the case, $20,000 fine a month, $100,000 fine a month is not that big of a deal. If they're spending $14.5 billion, they're planning to make substantially more. I ask that you make it hurt if they do abuse this system, if that's the only thing in your power to do. Succeed with my time.
Carlene Resendez? Is it Carlene? Resendez? Oh, okay. Lindsay Bunch?
So I don't live in the district. I live in Guadalupe County. And I hope that you guys are hearing us. Again, by rule reference that we were not heard on Tuesdays. I'm embarrassed. I've had multiple conversations with you about the lack of funds in our county, and you just walked away with that tax statement. We have no money for animal control, and there are millions of dollars gone. But again, we're not here to talk about the tax statement. We're here to talk about the water. I had no idea what crystal clear district was until I looked into it today. I go on your website, stage 3 water restrictions. So I've got a lot of questions. I'm not coming here with data and facts, and I applaud you for having them. What I have is a lot of questions. I want to know where you're getting your water, where you are going to give them all this extra water. You're in a stage 3 water restriction. I don't even know what that means, but it certainly doesn't mean that you've got water to give to this data center. So I'm asking you, just like everyone else in this room is to stand up because our commissioners didn't hear us. We need someone to hear us. I have 3 properties in Guadalupe County, 2 of which are on the water. My dam is not in the process of construction. McQueenie's is done, Placid's is done, Dunlap's is done. From what I read, you guys do get some of your water from that lake, and you also get it from Comel. That feeds our lakes. When my dam is done on Meadow Lake, I want my water back. And I guarantee you, McQueen, Placid, and Dunlap homeowners, they're thrilled. They've got it back. As of earlier this week, thank you for your prayer for the rain. Don't take this water from us, guys. We are paying out of our pockets to fix these dams. We need that water. We bought those houses. We deserve that water. We're fixing our dams because the cities aren't stepping up to do it. GBRA isn't stepping up to do it. Don't give our water to the data center. I am asking you to be the big guy, to stand up and to do the right thing. There are plenty of citizens out there right now who are trying to combat this in other ways, but you guys are our best hope. There's a petition going right now. If anybody wants to sign it, I have the QR code. We are going to try to fight this in multiple ways. I know that there's a legal group getting together as well. There's a Facebook group as well called No Data Centers Guadalupe County. Please go in, ask to be part of that. The more of us that can band together to fight this, because our commissioners didn't stand up for us, the better. But if you guys can help us, that is what I'm asking of you today. Thank you.
And Brad?
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm going to talk to this more just from a business sense in that more and more county, city, not this county, but county, city, state, federal mandates are taking place. Sid Miller, our agriculture commissioner, thank God he's watching out for ranch and farmland. He has got the agricultural freedom zone that he has already put a moratorium on data centers here in Texas. He has employed, not employed, but he got Pete Sessions to take it to the federal level so that we do not use sell, let go our farm and ranch land that we need for food. That'd be great just to have a data center, but if we can't eat and we can't drink our water, it's kind of pointless to be in this area. So I just ask you to please research. Just because somebody tells you something doesn't mean it's true. And the more I research this, the less likely that either one of these data centers are ever going to happen. More fail before they ever get started. Cloudburst has never built one to fruition yet. They have done other things. They have people on board that have worked in other projects, but them themselves have not. And so they're looking for a customer once they get it built. And the customers know that 10 of them are out there trying to get started and they're only looking for one. So whether or not they even get somebody to lease it, that's a whole nother question. Cynthia that represented Cloudburst at the commissioners meeting spoke so many mistruths, and for our commissioners to say that those were researched and factual, we're going to request records so that we know that they have been done, because it goes against everything else that we can research and find. So as a business person, I want you to be very skeptical on buying millions, 3, 4, 5 millions of gallons of water for these data centers that may never be here. Because then it's on the opposite side. If you're sitting here on water you can't sell, that's gonna hurt us all immensely, because where's that money gonna come from? It's gonna come from us. So until you know for a fact that this data center is going to go and that they are going to, you hold them accountable for the water that they've committed for. Now, these are billionaires. They've got lawyers just on standby, on standby, on standby. So if they don't have huge financial, one of the data centers got that Amazon leases, they got fined $20.5 million for contaminating the water. That's a drop in the bucket. Like somebody said, that doesn't even start the first machine that we need to clean it up, if you can ever. And we're talking on York Creek here. So York Creek gets contaminated, we're all downstream for that, and we're all going to be contaminated. And the food you eat is going to be watered with that. So guess what? We're already eating enough poison with Roundup and things like that that's used. It's just the beginning. So I just ask you to look at it from a business standpoint.
Okay, it does. I'm just gonna stop it. I'm gonna stop it at 1 second. Because that thing it's pretty aggressive.
Rodriguez.
I will wait until later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ori. Man. Mark.
I don't see about me for you, man.
Sorry, I thought I signed up really last minute. So I'm not a new member to Crystal Clear. This is my second meeting to come to. This has been very challenging. My other meetings have been a lot harder. Y'all all seem like very nice people, and I'm happy to be here. Not for the reasons we're here, obviously. I live on York Creek Road. I've been paying to Crystal Clear, my father and my family. I now pay my father's bills. He can't write for himself, and so I pay his bills. For the last 26 years, we've been on Crystal Clear. And I very respectfully would like to know why y'all aren't doing your jobs and why we're not at stage 4. And I mean that with no disrespect. You know, we are agricultural and we are neighbors here and we ride horses and we raise your agriculture that you eat. And I'm sure everybody here likes eating meat. I was vegan for 17 years. I don't, but I support it. And I know a lot about what it takes to take care of the earth and the planet. And I don't think that should mean that I don't think I'm an environmentalist, but man, it does feel like it when people are looking down on you and treating you poorly because they're choosing money over people and over water. And so it's very difficult to have had to learn to adapt to this space. And I didn't plan a speech today because I've had a very complicated week, but my water was shut off for 4 hours on Monday. And I've had to boil my water since because there's bacteria in the lines. The water lines are constantly getting broken where I live on York Creek Road. because of 118 when they're driving down the road. I can't imagine with the construction of data center. I know y'all have nothing to do with that. But I know that y'all have every power to stop it. And I know you're worried about lawsuits, but man, I'd like to think that the community and all the people would be something you'd be more concerned with people that live here for a long time. And my neighbor had, since I've last spoke with y'all, my neighbor had 4 dead cows in 2 weeks, and I had 2 horses die. It's very suspicious, and a lot of people are very, our animals drink out of the creek, so I don't know. But I mean, there's a lot of people saying things. And, you know, I don't have forklift to lift up a dead horse corpse to put it in the back of a trailer and the ability to take it to A&M to get an autopsy done of what happened to that horse. So I don't know. But there's a lot of weird stuff going on and we're scared. And that's why I'm crying. And I'm scared for my home and my life. And that I'm going to have to change my entire way that I planned on living the rest of my life. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, that's all. Let's see. Yeses, I have.
I got one more right now.
Okay, and, oh, I have something to come back to too. Matt Garrison?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and talk now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, yes.
This is appropriate now at this point. Well, like I've been among new friends and older friends, and I'm relatively new to this community, but, I hear everybody talking about the legal ramifications and being sued and being afraid of being sued. And I was in the Army for 20 years, and I didn't get to choose what battles I ran into. I was a cop in the Army for 20 years, and I didn't get to say, that bad guy over there might be a little too dangerous to go up against. And I went to bat for people that I have never met. I put my life on the line for people I've never met, and that I probably wouldn't have liked. So imagine what I'm willing to do as an individual to stand up for people I do like in a community that I just moved to and I am 100% invested in. Now, everybody's talking about all these things that they want Crystal Clear to do. What I'd like you to consider is that I saw the Republican primary ballot in May. And on that ballot, it asked the question, should we limit the number of high-use water entities moving forward? That's going to come up in November. Why, in God's name, can we not just say, let's put a pin in this and let the people actually be heard? Let the vote matter. I don't believe there's any reason that Crystal Clear can't say, we're going to hold off until the ballots are counted. Because they're gonna be. And you know what? If we, the people, lose that fight, so I got at least who fought it. But give us the opportunity. Give us the opportunity to stand the post.
Patrick and Grace ever come back in? Grace, Patrick. And Arlene Avery, did she ever come back?
I'm here, but I'm not the speaker.
Oh, okay. Sam Law.
That's me. Hi, so, thanks. I was sort of trying to think of what to prepare. I didn't prepare too much, but, I just want to say, like, I think that as a water board, it's your responsibility to steward the water resources, to make sure they last, and to make sure that the people who need them here are able to use them, as well as to think about economic development. And I think that when doing this, it's really important to be very, very suspicious of these data centers, right? They say things like, you know, we heard Cloudburst this week say that they're gonna, in Guadalupe County, use a special cooling system that's like on a scale that's never been used before, that they're just using propylene glycol with all these like additives. We don't, it's because the scale of these, some of these like closed loop, non-water based cooling systems are so large and untried. We don't know if they'll work. And we've seen data centers across the country make promises to water boards and utilities that manage water resources. Just last week in Tennessee, I think it was, a large data center that actually is like owned by Elon Musk. They said that they had a water recycling plant, that they wouldn't need any external water, that they'll just be using wastewater. And then they just announced, oh, we can't do that, but we've already got the tax credits, and they sort of strong-armed the community into it. So that's why it's really important when thinking about these large industrial users to do real long-term studies to get really strong binding commitments and to make sure that there's no ability for them to do little end runs. I'd also say just like the economic development, these are billionaires funded by some of the largest corporations, people trying to just make a cash grab based on this sort of speculative bubble right now. These aren't people who have like long-term interests, right? And so if you give away a bunch of water to these people, you're not going to be able to give it away to ranchers, to people who want to do small scale manufacturing, to the people who actually are going to drive economic development in this region. So I think that it's like up to you to really prioritize uses that are going to actually benefit the people who live here, right? And when we hear about horses dying, about pipes running dry, about water being cut off, it's like I don't think it's appropriate or right to be doing this. And I think that you should be brave, embrace this fight, and do everything in your power at the moment to put as much scrutiny on these large industrial users. Don't let them sweet talk you, don't let them bully you, hold them to the highest level of scrutiny and use every piece of regulatory power you have. And you're gonna have everyone in this community behind you. So even if you do get a fight, they're gonna bring some like lawyers from Silicon Valley or something, but there's gonna be all these Texans here who are gonna stand with you and have your back. And I think that's the fight that you wanna be doing. You wanna fight for the use of your community's water.
If there's anybody else that wants to speak that maybe I missed or just got to sign up, yes, sir.
My name's Zach. My family's lived in the area for 5 generations. I don't know, this is my first time having these. I just had a little kid. He plays in the water. I don't know anybody that wants data centers here. I don't want data centers here. I think it's just kind of a general understanding that nobody wants them here. I think they're good. Water's for us, not AI. Pretty much all I can say at the moment. I haven't done too much research on it, but if you guys are going to be the ones who stand up for us, like, we'll support you. So be on the right side. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? All right, well, I just want to thank all of y'all for being here. Thank y'all so much for being part of the process. I know it takes time out of your day, and I will apologize. We really did think about maybe moving this meeting to a bigger place. It's kind of cramped in here. We kind of kicked it around and we looked around. We just didn't find anything in time. So we might look at that next time, Michael. If we're gonna have a bunch of people, we don't want y'all to be uncomfortable. So we'll look into it. So thank y'all very much for being here. I will move into the item 3 consent agenda. All right, item 3A, approved minutes from the February 26, 2026 regular meeting. B, approved minutes from the approved December 2025, January 2026, and February 2026 financial investment report. C, approved up-to-date water loss report. D, approved up-to-date projects development monthly report. And E, approved M&S report, CCSUD capital improvement. Y'all, you have anything on that, Michael or Jennifer, or any, does the board have any questions on anything on the consent agenda?
On the approved minutes, I read it and looks well, read well. I make a motion to approve the minutes from February 22nd.
Motion by, BP, and if you
It's the entire consent agenda, not just, this isn't.
oh, yes, it's all in one.
We gotta do the whole.
Yes, sir. It's all in one swoop on the consent agenda.
Well, does anybody have anything else to say on that? Is that on A? I'm good, I read it. very well. Rest of them not as well versed. Can we not have eight?
I mean, we can.
Yeah, the consent agenda, Howard, I mean, it usually falls under one.
We usually have single motions, like not, we can go through them individually, and we can defer people, there's additional timing, we can read. But we can do it.
They can pull the specific item if they would like.
Yeah, correct.
I'm looking to approve item 3A, minutes for February 26, 2026 regular board meeting.
Okay, motion by Director Bendy. Second by Director Rosca. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That looks like the ayes have it. We still have item B through E. Consent agenda. If anybody has any questions about any of those reports.
I had a question, Michael, on the water loss.
Yes, sir.
How come it spiked? Are we like doing new construction or something? Yeah. It's a big spike.
So I want to,
Brad, take this.
yeah, I'll speak to that. You know, our last board meeting, we did come to the board for, additional personnel, that being the fact that, you know, we were averaging 35, 40 outstanding leaks at a time that we were unable to manage. Since that time, since adding new personnel, we are now averaging 5 outstanding leaks. So there should be a pretty large reduction in that water loss there. There's a lot to unpack here and things that we're trying to monitor. Some of those being certain things like fire departments that are pulling water. We're not getting reports from fire departments and such, like when there's a bit of a fire. We've been reaching out to fire departments trying to say, hey, can we get a monthly log from the thing that you guys are doing so we can implement that into our known losses?
So the fire department doesn't tell us, we chalk it up as a.
It'll be under the unidentified. Yeah, so,
And unidentified is lumped together with the water loss.
it is, the way it's average, and Brad, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it is average against the unidentified. We don't average it with the identified water loss because we know where that came from, right?
Right, so so speaking to Mr. Point, it's 2 years of log there, but it's a running annual average. It's only the 12 months prior, so it's gonna fluctuate. We keep the last 2 years so you guys can kind of see the trend for year to year. But it is only the unidentified water loss that is average.
I can't say we've been experiencing some I&I or some excess water loss in Kenwood with some of these some of the way the homes are being built. We're finding, they're going across pipes, kind of breaking some things here and there. So we've tracked some of that. But the way this report reads, it says March, but actually reads a month behind based off of, we try to collect the data off the metered gallons, which is the 53 million. That comes from the 10th of the month when we finalize the reports for the meter reads. When we bill. So it's collecting that data from the month previous. So that's why they're as we get into April, we expect, based off of the personnel and staffing that we've been able to achieve over the last couple of months, that number should drop, sir.
It's a big number.
It is very concerning.
Was it the drought, or do we have cracking soil? Did it have?
A lot of that
It just dropped through.
Yeah, a lot of that contributes to this, sir. It's something that we are definitely taking a hard look at internally, figuring out where should we be metering that we're not metering. We've identified some of the wastewater treatment facilities needing a meter on the water going into the facility to help with the spar screens. I mean, we've been hitting this really, really hard as far as trying to track down everything.
Is there a particular area or service area that these leaks are?
Just given the rural area, we did have, I wasn't able to get it on this agenda. I guess I can try to pull something up or send it to the directors. It's just, I don't know if I want to, but we've been working at mapping where the leaks have transpired over using our GIS, our Trimble software. We just updated it today. I didn't have the time to get it into the board packet, but I can send it to the directors.
Yeah. We can target it a little better because Golly.
I can very much express to you, sir, that it is very high on our list of priorities to figure out where it's going and how it's going. Was there any any more questions on water loss directors that we can kind of dive into? As far as the projects and monthly developments report, that's from Stephanie. She just stepped out. She provides that to you monthly as just kind of a generalized status of what we're working on across the district. And then the M&S report is also a report that's sent in from M&S. And we do have Marissa here with M&S if there's any questions pertaining to that. That report, I do very much plan on making some adjustments as far as reporting goes coming into the upcoming board meetings. I think Director Velasquez has kind of witnessed that with her being a trustee for the CRWA board meeting. I do want to get to a point where each one of the staff members is speaking specifically to their reports versus just doing it under a consent agenda. So normally, you know, this would be something that, again, y'all approve all at once and we move on to the regular agenda items. But again, we're able to discuss whatever y'all feel.
Do you think we can have that rolling by next meeting?
I will, sir.
Okay, so by next meeting, we should have each individual report?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Each will have an operations report, general manager's report. We'll dive into into it a little bit better.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve item P through E on the consent agenda.
Second.
Second by Director Benavides. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Looks like the ayes have it. All right, moving into the regular agenda. Item 4A, update discussion of possible actions, draft conditions for water supply portfolio.
Directors, again, this was something that I was kind of working on through the last minute, and I'll kind of second. I'll have something on there that kind of speaks to it on why I was trying to wait till the last minute to keep it updated. I do have a packet. There is a printout that was put at the back of your packets. If you don't mind, I am going to stand. I do appreciate everyone's comments and concerns, and I hope that throughout this presentation, I can explain it enough to mostly answer some of your questions. But again, this is just, and I do have a couple extra copies as well. But this is me speaking to the drought conditions as well as our water supply portfolio. This is speaking to now. I'm not here to, you know, speculate one way or the other. This is me just speaking factual information as it is. Again, as some of you have questions. So drought conditions, water portfolio. Yes, sir.
Will we address the question that was raised earlier? Where do we get our water?
Yes, sir. It's going to be in this one. It's in that packet.
Excellent.
All right, doesn't want to do that for me.
I have an extra
I'll just
packet out.
those. Now it's thinking. So some of the things, I do have some extra ones right here. Yeah, Miss Cash. It's not. All right, so real quick, just kind of some of these acronyms that you'll see throughout this presentation is you have CCSUD, which obviously is crystal clear, EAA, Edwards Oscar, CRWA, Kenya Regional ARWA, Alliance Regional Water Authority, GBRA, Guadalupe Blanco River Authority. You'll see the word AF referenced, which stands for 1 acre foot, which is basically if you take 1 acre of land, it's fill it up to water that's 1 foot deep. That's exactly kind of what it stands for. It's 325,851 gallons. CFS is cubic feet per second measured in rate of flow. And then you have the AMSL or AML, which is above median sea level. Again, you'll see some of those things referenced here in the slide. So getting straight to the point, you know, I will speak in generalized of the concerns as far as going from stage 3 to stage 4. What you're seeing here in the C and D is straight out of our drought contingency plan as it stands right now. I did highlight where, you know, it does show the 640 being below 640 is a stage 3. And then when you go below 630, it goes into stage 4. I'm going to elaborate on that here in a second. And then again, I did want to wait till the very most up-to-date information. So again, like Ms. Lindsay said earlier, the J17 is currently taking a 10-day average of 629.9 feet. And then although the aquifer itself currently sits at 636 square feet MSL. So the reason that it's still referenced in stage 4 is because, again, this average isn't above the 630. Obviously, with the rains that we've had, and of course, God, we can use a lot more. It's taking, I think the aquifer's risen about 8 feet in the last Saturday when we had that front come through. So again, expect this average to come above 630 within the next couple of days. But again, just wanted to speak to how that references to our current drought contingency plan. And the Comal Springs, again, our drought, our permits, none of them are technically based off the Comal Springs. So again, this plan was approved, I believe, in the month that I got here. So unfortunately, I just think that there's some requirements in there that don't necessarily meet with the way the district, the way the permits read with the district. So moving on, I just wanted to. This is a reference of our entire CCN right here. It's the map that's behind here on the wall. For reference, this is San Marcos. Over here is New Braunfels, Seguin, and then you kind of get towards Luling and Kingsbury. Is Dennis still in here? Kingsbury is kind of right there. Yes, ma'am. So that's where Kingsbury is. The red square obviously is the bigger picture right here on the map. So of the two Edwards Aquifer wells that we have, they service the Nelson, Kinsler, and Havenwood zones, which comprise of the 7,400 customers or 7,400 accounts. It comprises of about 1,300 of those accounts. Excuse me. So this is just going to be of the entire year from January to December of 2025. So I'm just going with the full year's worth of data, as that's how our permits are go from year to year. And now on the left is the critical period management plan. Again, that has the water reductions. It shows you when they go into effect, and then again it shows the flows in the springs. So I wanted to, this is for example only, and I'm kind of showing, if you look at the very bottom, stage 5 reduction is 44%. So these two examples are example onlys of stage 5. And the way the management plan works, it's a rolling average. So what I'm assuming in this example is that from January 1, 2025 through December 31st of 2025, if the EAA was in if the J17 was in stage 5 from January 1st to December 31st, this is what the curtailment would look like based off our permits that we have with the Nelson Well 1 and the Nelson Well 2. So what you do is you take the 864 acre feet that were permitted, and the 1187 acre feet that were permitted, you multiply it by the 0.44, which is the 44%, and you give an acre footage of what you're supposed to subtract from your starting number, which is the 864 or 1187. You subtract that, you got 483 left on well 1, you have 664 on well 2, and subtracting those from what we used in all of 2025, we would still have roughly 145 and 142 acre feet of water available on those permits. And I know we've referenced that in previous board meetings about how we don't have the infrastructure, or we don't have the ability to outpump or outpump those restrictions. And I just wanted to put that in an example that kind of speaks to our two permits as it applies to us within Crystal Clear.
What do you mean we can't outpump?
So like if we were to go into stage 4 or stage 5 reductions, we would never, based off of that, what our new permit would be, which would be the 483 for well 1 and 664 for well 2. We don't have the infrastructure in place to get anywhere near that amount that's left over. Because again, it services that smaller section of the district.
Straw only goes so deep, is that what you're saying, or?
We don't have the demand for it. We don't have the growth on those pressure planes to pull any more than what those numbers represent for last year. So as again, speaking to 2025, is there expected population? Of course, there's going to be things coming online as time rolls on, but for the sake of today and speaking to the factual information, we don't have the infrastructure or the demand in place to get
So we
our
can't
permits.
over pump just because we don't have the demand. Am I understanding that correctly?
We'll never get close to reaching our permits as of, based off 2025. And again, we're 4 months going into 4 months of 2026. But as of right now, even if we were at the worst restrictions based off of the demand or the houses in those 3 service pressure zones, we wouldn't get to the new curtailed amount that would be.
So these will service that area,
Yes, sir.
and that area physically doesn't have the demand right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but at least for the foreseeable future, we won't
For
have.
the foreseeable future, yes, sir. Again, I can't speak to what is going to come through the door at Lane, but based off 2025, this is again going to the extreme, which we're not at, but going to the extreme for these wells.
Okay.
So the other picture where I think some of the other questions come from is we do purchase water and from our wholesale providers. So we have the CRWA Hayes Caldwell. That plant is located off Old Martindale Road off of Highway 80 and Old Bastrop, kind of in that, it's next to one of the RV camps right there off of 80. We have the CRWA Lake Dunlap, which I know somebody referenced the Lake Dunlap, and as well as we have contracts for the CRWA Wells Ranch facility. And some of I think several directors, we've had the opportunity to drive out there. I drove you out there to kind of show you those facilities. And then we have the Alliance Regional Water Authority, where as of right now, they're completed up through phase 1B, and that's 1,172 acre feet. And then what we have here is we have an interconnect with the Spring Hill Special Utility District, and it's kind of on our far reaches of going towards Seguin, kind of like on that weird little, sorry, Chris, right above your head, but like that weird little structure right there. We have an interconnect on the southwest side. And that's more so we use that sparingly in the event we have an outage or whatever. We've switched the water around it to make sure that if we have the ability to keep customers in service while we repair something, then we make those moves happen. But that isn't a contract per se like the other sources. It is a retail. It is what we pay for it, like these customers pay for their water from Crystal Clear. And that's a 3-inch meter. So again, looking at this is again going off the entire 2025. We have 500 acre foot through Hayes Caldwell. We used 396 acre feet, and the combined 1292.39. We used 1,118 acre feet for all of 2025. And then the reason we keep RWA so low is because it's our most per 1,000 gallons, and I don't have that number off the top of my head, but it is the more expensive water per se, so we don't use it unless we need it. And we've only used it in certain situations where there was an outage from the CRWA line that runs from Lake Dunlap to our windmill booster station off of 123.
So if I understand correctly, we've got the wells that you talked about earlier,
Yes, sir.
and then we got these provided over here.
So the Lake Dunlap and the Wells Ranch, the permits that we have with them equal out to the 1292. That is the water that we get from the Lake Dunlap. So they feed us, or we're contracted to ensure that they meet that acre footage through the CRWA through our take point at windmill. That is its own little area per se.
And then we get that through CRW, right?
Yes, sir. And then you have also CRWA again closer off of Highway 80, like once you turn left off the 110, like you're going back into San Marcos, if you look to the left, you'll kind of see some water tanks and stuff like that. And they pool, we have permits that equal out to 500 acre feet. Some of them are through GBRA and some of them are through like old permits through like some of the old residents that lived along that.
And Hayes Caldwell gets their water out of where?
So at the Lake Dunlap facility, there's like a split right before it gets to the actual dam. What's the word I'm trying to use? A canal. Thank you. Thank you. A canal that splits off to the left. GBRA takes water from that canal and pumps it cross country because they also have a surface water treatment plant that they utilize that water at that's located probably not even a mile and a half away from the CRWA location. They have their own surface water treatment facility. So as that water crosses to feed their surface treatment plant, CRWA has a contract with GBRA to pull water off that line and treat it at the CRWA Hayes Caldwell treatment facility. It's pretty far distance. Yeah, it is far. It's far distance. So that's how they get water off of there. Then again, there are some permits off the San Marcos River. They do have an intake that they do pump, like, so people that when the flow is going good and the people are tubing down the river, they don't realize that there's an intake right there underneath them.
So, but for example, the first column, CRWA Hayes Caldwell.
Yes, sir.
Where do they get their water from? Where does that
So
water
that-
first
No,
surface
sir,
water?
it's surface water.
Surface river, the.
It comes from the Canyon Lake, down the
Canyon Lake.
yes, sir, down the river,
Okay,
and it goes, yes, sir.
okay. And the second column, they get it from Lake Donald.
So that,
A couple of,
yeah, so that one comes down from, Canyon Lake, and then the Wells Ranch facility, that's the one that's south of Seguin in between Nixon and Seguin off 1117. So there's a couple big wholesale providers. If you've ever heard of SSLGC, they have a plant south of the Wells Ranch CRWA facility, so that's where that water comes from. What happens is CRWA essentially takes that water and they use it to feed some of the wholesale or some of the providers that are going more towards San Antonio on the east side. And, oh, sorry about that, on the east side. And then, so like East Central would be one of them. And East Central, what we're doing is we're taking their quote unquote Lake Dunlap water and they're taking our Wells Ranch water. So it's kind of like a swap amongst permits on paper, but we're still required, or they're still required to deliver, to deliver that flow to us.
and the third column, where do they get their water from?
So that comes all the way out there from Welder. It's way, yeah, it's way out there. It's north of Welder. They have, I can't think of how many wells they have off the top of my head, but that is a treatment facility that was kind of based off. So it used to be, I'm assuming I know you know that maybe you're just asking so that way I answer the questions for the
Yeah, so they
public.
can get their.
But there used to be it used to be called HCPUA, which was Hayes Caldwell Public Utility Agency. Back in the early 2000s, they saw that there was a need for water for this entire area. And then eventually it transitioned into what we call today ARWA, but it consists of sponsors. They call them sponsors of City of Kyle, Buda, County Line SUD, Crystal Clear SUD, Green Valley SUD. Well, GBRA is also a taker from there, City of New Braunfels, San Marcos. Yeah, so there's everybody pretty much along that I-35 corridor, Maxwell. And I think Go Forth is another SUD that takes water from that facility. That full build out, when it does get to phase 1C and 1D get completed, that one's going to be around 40 million gallons per day treatment facility. The Wells Ranch is about 15 million gallons a day right now. Same for Lake Dunlap. Hayes Caldwell is about 3.2 MGD per day producer of the water. All righty. So again, just showing you kind of the overall giant profile of the water that CRWA has. I'm sorry, not CCSUD has. So with this slide, I'm going to kind of talk through this slide. So back almost a year ago, GBRA entered into a stage 4 because the lake went below the 880 MSL. That triggered a stage 4. So anything up to stage 4 from GBRA is what they call quote unquote voluntary. Like in other words, hey, we're at stage 2, we're at stage 3. Please, if you can curtail. So at that point with stage 4, it's no longer voluntary. It's a 15% curtailment for anybody that is a purchaser of GBRA water from Canyon Lake all the way down through, as far as they're selling their water, wholesale water. So when they went into that stage, CRWA is Canyon Regional Water Authority is comprised of 11 entities overall, and they're all kind of there on the right. So what we did, and the reason these numbers are less than 15% is because Canyon Regional's Board of Trustees at the time took a holistic approach to curtailment, basically saying, because when it comes to the well, any well water, whether it's from Wells Ranch or whether it's from Arwa, which pulls water from wells, there is no curtailment from those wells. They differ from the EAA. The EAA is a capped, permitted. You can't get any more rights out of it. And they have their own curtailment system. But as of today, the Wells Ranch facility, as well as the Arwa, there is no curtailment there. So we basically, the entity said, hey, we're going to throw everything into one big pot and we're just going to share, quote unquote, the drought restriction of 15%. So that way, essentially what it turned into was, because this would be some percentage, some people would have to curtail more than others, based off of where their permits came from. So we took the holistic approach because SAWS, I can tell you right now, doesn't have any GBRA permits, but they still took that 6.7% cut. Same thing applied at Hayes Caldwell. The reason that one's higher is because obviously there's less participants, but again, we took a holistic approach to it and it turned out to be a 10% curtailment. So at any point in time, and this is voted in and this is going forward, that GBRA enters into a stage 4 curtailment. These are the numbers that these entities are required to meet from the wholesale provider of CRWA. And this was today. I wanted to wait till today as well to see what the most was. And then currently, GBRA is at stage 2, and they're at 86.53.
What percentage of the water we use is from GBWRA?
Oh, I don't have that math off the top of my head, sir, but I can find out for you. And I apologize because that is a very, very good question. But I will get that information. So, I mean, if you look at, so this brings me to the last slide. I think we could probably do some math here. And Chris, if you know, please feel free to jump in, but I can't think off the top of my head what that number is. So right here, this is this slide. What this shows our entire MOR, which is our monthly operating report that Brad submits every month. This is again for all of 2025, and I apologize that I cropped it too low so you couldn't see it. But this is for all of 2025, and it takes in the Hayes Caldwell, the Lake Dunlap, the Arwa, and then our Edwards well. So overall, CCSUD on contract has 5,315.39 acre feet. Again, taking the math of what an acre feet equals to, and the entire profile for the year for CCSUD is over 1.7 billion gallons of water. So that is how much water. Again, this is assuming in a perfect world, all of our pipes are buttoned up tight. We're not leaking anything. Everything's rolling as it should be. Obviously, we know we have water loss and we're addressing that. But at the year-to-year contracts as of right now, today, it's 1.732 billion gallons of water. And it's broken down again over the permits, which are again 500, 1592, 1172, 864. So what this shows right here, this shows the curtailment. So again, for Hayes Caldwell and Lake Dunlap, you don't see curtailment. We went to 11% and 7%. So we rounded up again to try to take that extra percentage to be a little more conservative with those curtailments. And then the Arwa, there is no curtailment. And from stage 1 to stage 5, there's no curtailment to stage 5. There's no curtailment for Arwa. And then again, kind of going back to those earlier slides, this shows the way our Edwards well 1 works. It kind of doesn't work hand in hand with the way the EAA restricts the wells. Our permit basically says that's the only one that looks off the San Marcos Springs. If the San Marcos Springs is below 100 CFS, which we know it is, we're curtailed to a little over 1.4 acre feet a day. So it does not matter. We cannot go above that 1.4-ish acre feet, which comes out to about 460,000 gallons a day. And we stop it at 400,000 gallons a day. We make sure that we don't get to where we're busting that permit, but so we have it set up to once from 12 midnight to 12 till 11:59 that evening. Once it hits 400,000 gallons, it shuts off until the clock strikes midnight again for the next day if it's needed. The Edwards well 2, that's where you see the 20, 30, 35, 40, 44%. That takes in the EAA restrictions. And then again, looking at again, this is all 2025 right here. If we had no curtailment, which was 100% of our water, we would only use 46% of it. And then again, as you go to stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, taking in these curtailment factors, if we were to be at stage 5 for the entire year, we would lose 19% of our ability to produce water, which would have us at 81%. And again, we utilized 57% for last year. I will say that as of right now, this number based off of the plan that the board has approved and laid forth, for CCSUD with the Trinity wells. We do have those eventually coming online in about anywhere 2 years or so, ideally. And then this does not take into account the 1C and 1D additional acre footage that will be allotted to use from ARWA once that's completed. So this number within the next 2 to 3 years would be expected to grow.
What's the rough EPA for C1, C2?
They're going with the CMAR project, which is a construction manager at risk, which basically saying it's like, hey, y'all are taking all the risk of building this. We're not going to have any of this back and forth stuff. Some of the early are the substantial completion dates. We're looking at 2028 to 2029.
That'll bring how many more million gallons? Per day with the 15?
560.
It's 25. It would bring like another 1,000 acre feet to Crystal Clear's water portfolio.
Okay, what would that be in gallons?
1,000 acre feet would be like 300 million, 300 million, 3.3. Yeah, 320. I mean, you look at it, if you just go 1,000, you add 3 extra zeros to the 325, you're looking at 325 million. So, and I appreciate those questions, Mr. Benavides. I know you're asking them so that way I can explain them for the customers to understand those. But this completes my presentation on the current, the reason why, again, the job contingency plan doesn't necessarily take into account this entire portfolio, which is again why we remain in stage 3 at this time.
So the sources that are up there, are those all your sources?
We have, great question, Mr. Muth. We have 700 acre feet that we could tap into at the Wilcox, from Wilcox Water that would be located in Kingsbury. We have some old permits there. We have some permits for there's an old Staples plant or McDonald's well that's located off of, what road is that? 1977 going back towards Highway 80. We have about 500 acre feet there that we're not currently using. So this does, to answer your question, no, sir, it does not take into account the entire water portfolio.
Because just doing some quick math on January across there, it ended up being about 46 million. And on your loss report here, it's at 62 million. So I was just wondering why
there is a difference. Again, what you're going to see on the MOR is month to month actuals. What you're going to see on that report is going to be kind of like a month behind. It's not going to match up month for month based off the billing. And I can see where you're going with that, Mr. Muth. And again,
just 20 million gallons is.
Well, yeah, no, for sure, right? But no. I think again, I can say that water loss report is concerning. Any water loss is concerning, no matter in what shape or form it takes. And we are looking to be better at it, but we're also looking to see if there's either a different program, different software, something that can kind of match up. That's been around since I think at least 2020, if not longer. I think it could be revised and looked into, and it is something that we're definitely looking at.
That's a question. You may have to break out the crayons with this. This is new for me. If I look back at this page, the current aquifer conditions.
Yes, ma'am.
And I look down at J17, 629.9.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I go to our stage 4, and maybe this is too simplistic, but it says if it's less than 630 feet below mean sea level, is it and flows in the canal spring are equal to or?
The way it's listed is, again, the Canal Springs our permits don't necessarily reference the Canal Spring, and that's why it being in there is kind of misleading. Our permits are either San Marcos Spring or J17.
Okay, because in looking at our, I guess, our
Yes, ma'am.
requirements here,
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it stinks like we should go to stage 4.
Yes, ma'am, but it also doesn't explain fully the entire water portfolio. So again, for 1,300 connections, that still leaves around 5,800 connections that are getting water from different locations. Yes, ma'am.
Get it? I get what you're saying, but you were completely ignoring the water contingency plan. I've been saying it since October last year. Like, I get it. I understand that you have other sources and it's great. But the problem is that's not what your rules say. And you're just, there's no mechanism to force you. You know, you're not getting a penalty for TCQ. You know, it's just, I'm so frustrated. And Michael, listen, with the records I obtained from Cloudburst, the open records, I'm still fighting to get from, you know, July to December.
Yes,
You know, but I have January to July. Those records, Michael, it was 1.3 billion gallons a year. Okay, that's what they submitted. That's what they asked you for. 1.3 billion gallons a year just for that one power plant.
And that's
okay?
it goes right.
And so, and now you're saying that all of last year, you know, we had available crystal clear is 1.7. Okay, well, let's minus the 1.3 billion. I mean, and I understand, you know, what they did and Tuesday, they just lied through their teeth. Okay, they're saying they're gonna use wastewater from St. Martin, blah, blah. That's never gonna happen. Yeah, they came to you and said, hey, we're just gonna get a data center. We just want the 96 LEDs for just the data center. And they're lying through their teeth about the power plant. In 2 or 3 months, they're coming for you for that power plant. I know they will. I mean, release the records, Judge, release the records. I mean, they touted, hey, this is how much water we're using. I mean, if I'm wrong, prove it to me, show the records to everyone. You know, tell them to stop fighting with that. I have to fight with the OAG for 6 months, a year to just get these records. Okay, you need to put us in stage 4. Okay, and I understand it's going to hurt you because no new leaders can be connected. And I understand that, but you are violating your rules, you know, and we can stop them. This is such a simple act. Stop them and then rewrite the stage 4 to allow for single family, you know, mom and pop one-off meters. Okay, but it shuts it all down. It's just so simple. And you know, and they can try to see you. The attorney can talk to you. It is in your drought contingency plan. Michael, do it. Go. October. I've been telling you this since October, and it would be so easy. We wouldn't have to do all this phony show.
If you're home to Emily, you'd be crying about it too, and you'd be just as upset as we are. If your lives and homes are being threatened.
All you have, I get it. You have a lot of water. Great. You have a lot of water for us, but if they come in here and they're coming, okay, 2 of them are coming. I don't even know what Palomino looks like. It's probably gonna be a year before I get those records. I requested it. I'm waiting to hear from their attorney. Then I'm gonna have to fight the attorney general. Okay, they said they were gonna do 2 power plants for Palomino. My God,
Yes, ma'am.
we're looking at billions of gallons, okay? So this is great that we have a wonderful portfolio, but in a year's time, we're gonna be screwed. Okay, and you put us in stage 4, you won't get sued. You're following your plan, do it. And then rewrite the revision. Say, hey, you know, Navarro, they can build homes, great. Single family only, nobody else.
Yes, ma'am.
We can, I'm sorry, Ms. Linda, sir.
No, really off.
We'll go one more question, because I'm really we're not allowed, I'm not supposed to let anybody from the public ask questions this part. We want to be transparent, so we've given a lot of levity, but I could get in trouble like that. I've already kind of been complained
I'm
on.
not asking
For a
questions.
while. So we'll take one more, but we have to just, it has to be from the board. I apologize.
Is the drought contingency plan legally binding for y'all? And if not, what is the purpose of it?
Use the word legal, so.
The adoption of the drought contingency plan is required by TCSUD.
That doesn't answer my question.
No.
I don't know if there's a good answer for your question.
That's what we're.
That's not. I think one of these sets them, but I
So
don't think.
Water Development Board will review them. Yes, yes, ma'am. It's again, I hear everyone here and again, this, I just wanted to speak to, again, today's conditions as if they were and provide insight to the holistic approach of how Crystal Clear operates without the entire district. I hope it was informational. I hope it was informative. And I do I really do appreciate doing something like this because again, it allows, this presentation allows factual information to be out there for the public to see and to hear and to run with again. So again, speaking to this, Mr. President.
I do have a question. I mean, to go behind Ms. Lindsay and Director Patterson. So does the drought contingency plan need amendment? I mean, does it need to be amended?
We're looking at revising it, yes, sir. We're currently working towards that to some extent. And we do hope to in May, even as early as maybe the strategic planning committee or either an administrative committee meeting. I believe maybe that's where it might fall under. Either way, one way or the other, there will probably be a draft presentation prior to next board meeting.
What happens if we go to stage 4? What happens?
It's very.
Wait, what happens?
Stage 4, some of the restrictions that were mentioned by members of the audience.
So would Navarro single homes be stopped? Would mom and pop meters be stopped?
Everything will be stopped.
Everything stops.
Yeah.
If something were to be drafted to say, hey, we're gonna stop industrial large users, but single family still proceed, mom and pop shops still proceed?
That requires amendment of the drought contingency plan.
So we go into stage 4, and then we amend our rules, and we allow for the homes meters, but we don't allow for large million-gallon-a-day users.
All of this has to be understood in the context of Crystal Clear's obligation to provide service.
But if we're in stage
Crystal
4,
Clear, sir.
like we're in stage 4, like we're supposed to be in right now,
Frankly, it would be more legally acceptable to prohibit everybody than to provide exceptions. We can't play fair. We can't.
well, then we go into stage 4, we make plans.
And yeah, I agree. I think right now, we are going completely against our own protocol. I mean, that's blatant. So I think at this point, we need to shut everything down, redo the rules. And I understand what you're saying that, we could be discriminatory, look at discriminatory. I get that. But at the same point in time, in a stage 4 restriction, maybe we have that ability to be discriminatory against large water users. So I guess right now, this concerns me that we are going completely against our own protocol. We're worried about getting these other lawsuits from these big data centers. I'm worried about lawsuits from the general public. That's concerning as well. So.
Will, the same, will.
Can I ask this? So
No, you're fine. I understand. I'm sorry.
thank you for everyone listening.
No, I'm sorry.
Keep going. We got time to waste.
We got more time. Well, I think it was a good presentation. I mean, what?
Yeah, I'm very factual.
It was very good presentation. Thank you, Mike.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. It's definitely not an easy time.
We just, are we
I
voting?
don't know, is that something that we want to discuss anymore?
Can we make a motion to go in stage 4 right now? Is that how we do this?
It's a president's discretion. Or is this something that needs to go to executive session?
I think we go to the executive.
Yeah. Mr.
How about would y'all be okay with just, we should rest and go back in executive?
Yeah.
Not like, just, not closing the matter, but just.
Yeah.
No.
We'll bring it back later.
All right, so on 4A, we're just gonna, we're gonna take it back up after executive session.
Thank you all for listening.
4B, update discussion, possible action, rules and regulations update. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, easement, guidance policy, leak adjustment policy, owners and tenants, and large volume water users. Now, I know that Howard also wants to talk some about this in executive session, so we should, I do want to, if there's any we can do.
Absolutely. I just won't furnish any advice with respect to it. So certainly for you to discuss.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to stop to you, Vice President, because this mostly.
Talking about the rules and regulations we were talking about.
Yeah, because this mostly goes to you, committee,
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we wanted to change, in regards to, easements, I got a big problem with the wording, and this was discussed at the meeting. System-wide is too broad. It's a catch-all. And as a matter of fact, it was one of the reasons Crystal Clear cited in previous management as to why they wanted to take an easement. And they said, well, it serves a system. It's a system, there's something that serves system-wide. But leaving that particular little phrase, system-wide, is too broad. We can argue, oh, we need an easement because eventually we're going to build here, we're going to build there. And we had discussed it with Mr. Sloboda. We were going to get rid of system-wide. For whatever reason, it's still there. So, no, I'm not okay with approving this change right here, having it as system-wide.
Director Benavides?
Yes.
Do you have that piece of paper?
I do. As a matter of fact, I do. Why do you ask?
So I'm looking at the rule language as proposed, so that's what's in the rule as drafted. And then your email to me this morning said.
The one you didn't reply to, yes.
Yes, yeah. It says you moved the word immediate one place and said change it to immediately and retained system-wide service.
Yeah, but since you didn't reply, I have no idea what your thought process is or your legal advice or what have you. And I've started calling you, you don't call, you don't reply either, so.
Yeah.
So I figured here, maybe I'll get an answer.
Yeah, and I laid this house for you, so.
Yeah. Yeah. You replied, or well, your law firm replied to one customer. Your third question asked, what other alternatives does customer have to service? And your reply was explained about Crystal Clear SUD has the authority in Texas Water Code section 49.218 to condition service on the grant of an easement for the benefit of Crystal Clear's SUD's water distribution system and has adopted a rule which has the effect of law implementing its statutory authority. Fourth, you stated, quote, please include compliance with bylaws, close quote. Crystal Clear currently does not have bylaws. Texas Water Code section 49.057G states that the board may adopt bylaws to govern the affairs of the district for performance purpose. In other words, bylaws are an option but not a requirement for the special utility such as Crystal Clear SUD. And here we go. To address a particular paragraph. The second question in your July 23, 2025 email asked, quote, why do you need the customer to grant access to easements? Please explain. Close quote. You replied, Crystal Clear, the law firm's replied, Crystal Clear SUD requires the easement from all new customers as required, quote, the district's ... purposes in providing system-wide service. That was your reply, system-wide service for asking an easement. And that's precisely what we're trying to eliminate.
So Director Benavides just said, to try and understand your point. So I've got what's in the rule proposal that's here to be approved by the board today.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got what you included in your email this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And there's very little difference. I mean, it's entirely semantic. So I have no objection.
Oh, well, I don't see it semantic because you were using it as a justification for requiring an easement. It's right here, right?
So as proposed, the language states, district shall request but not require the acquisition of a frontage easement from one property line to another, except where necessary to provide immediate service to multiple.
That was what I suggested.
No, that's actually what was in the rule proposal. What
No.
I suggested is, district shall request but not require the acquisition of a frontage easement from one property line to another, except where immediately necessary to provide system-wide service. That is copied from your.
That's what I emailed you today.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, and so this is.
And that does not read the same way as here, which reads to provide system-wide services as authorized by blah, blah, blah.
There must be an error in the packet because the rule as proposed
No.
isn't.
Yeah, there's probably either deliberate or inadvertent error on this, but no, I cannot approve that with the wording that way. That is not what we discussed, not what was agreed on, so no.
Okay, well, I will not address this any longer in open session.
Right, that's
Fantastic.
Fantastic. We'll jump on to the next one.
So we'll address that one again in executive session.
All right, leak adjustment policy. Layman terms, so Daniel?
Yeah, so that one is where we are trying to, as I believe Miss Rosebud, I can't remember the lady's name, I just remember Rosebud, it just sticks out. She noticed a leak on her property, so sometimes these leaks, based off of the nature of the customers, some more rural than others, They don't always find the leak right away, or it may spread over a month or two. And the old policy was basically a one leak adjustment for one billing cycle throughout a 12-month period. And what we feel would be something that I think gives us the ability to have a little more flexibility in understanding situations where the leak extends from 1 to 2 billing cycles that are, if, let's say we read meters in the beginning of the month, the leak goes from the 20th and they find it on the 10th, then instead of only being held to one or the other, we encompass the entirety of the week. And then it gives the general manager discretion for the third month. Yeah.
That's what we had discussed. And we also discussed maybe allowing on a large enough property where a leak would be hard to find, maybe in a 3-month billing period.
Yes, sir. The discretion for the general manager to go to 3 months. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And yes, and y'all were presented with an issue, I believe, a month ago or so, and we were able to kind of get to this, utilize this kind of proposal idea to come to a conclusion on that matter.
Yes.
So are we good with that language?
Oh, yeah. Definitely good there, yes, sir.
So 4B2, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Owner and tenants, I'm okay with that. Then it's referenced later in the schedule, what the amounts are gonna be, correct?
Yes, sir. So that's where, again, we, for the sake of those that have rental properties, per the Rules and Regs Committee, what we'll do is require a $400 deposit from the tenant upon entry into the district for service or transfer of service. There's still a $300 deposit. That's $300 deposit that's held by the owner. Again, this
In addition to the 400.
yes, sir. And this would be retroactive, and this would be in the event when tenant leaves, or for some reason, there's a leftover amount, and instead of pulling from the owner's $300, it would first pull from the $400 from the tenant, and it's designed to cover the last month's bill. And again, just provide some flexibility there for these owners as far as, if they come across a situation where this may apply. And then again, it's already I know one of the things that's been kind of addressed is ensuring that, somebody isn't hopping around the district, given the fact that we do cover 206 square miles. And what this will do is we already have a thing in place that it flags driver's license numbers.
Fantastic. The wording, the way I saw it, it read well. Director Roscoe? Or question?
So package.
No.
I think it's great.
All right.
So B3, we're good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
B3, so.
Okay.
Action, a motion, move to approve and update CCSUD's rules and regulations for the leak adjustment policy and owners and tenants as presented and allow non-substantive changes.
Motion made, Director Rodriguez.
Second.
Second, Director Patterson. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, looks like the ayes have it on B2 and B3. Then take up B1 after executive session. Now I do want the public, and Howard, I'll just let you tell us when, I do want the public to be able to hear what they can as far as the work that maybe the board's been doing, so, heavy regulatory guidelines for large quality water meters. I don't see them out there.
It's not.
There's not, no. So there from the last previous Monday's meeting, there was, staff would ask for some numbers. We returned those into legal, and we never had received an updated copy in time to put in the agenda. So is it something that we're just talking to an executive session, or?
I had no problem with directors expressing their opinions regarding, the policy itself and the text of the policy. We can certainly address the public. I think if we're going to talk about what goes in and what comes, what should go in and what should go out, that should be done in the session.
What are we looking at, Phil?
Well, I didn't bring my material since I didn't see it on the packet, but that's a bit of an issue there. I got the broad strokes, but I'd rather get more details.
Y'all probably got it in your email. You just figured it out.
The whole rules and regs is included in the section.
But also it's in the rules and regs.
Yeah, it's in the rules and regs.
Oh, the large.
For the large volume?
Not the.
No, not the large.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, so that's, again, that was, staff got the numbers, and I know there was some feedback requested from the directors, because there was.
Well, just to discuss it and put the public up to speed. We will not enter into NDAs with, what the water usage is gonna be. We may have to enter into NDAs when it comes to how they're gonna produce their electricity, proprietary information, how they're gonna produce their widgets or whatever. But, we will not, go into NDAs on the water they use. There will be severe penalties, severe surcharges, if they go past what they say they're gonna use. And it will be tiered, the more they go. There will be, penalties of shutting down their water if they keep going past what they say. So it's pretty severe penalties. I wish I would have brought my notes to give you more specific,
Yeah.
but those are the broad.
I think it also speaks to, based off of when, if and when there is some type of agreement, if it does go, or however that works out, doing what we can, infrastructure wise to limit the flow. So
Yes, basically put some
yeah,
restrictions.
put some restrictions on there. So, a lot of those, concerns and things that were brought to the directors.
Longer public posting periods too, before board act.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yes, that's true. That is true. What the application, some of it may or may not be non-disclosed. But when it comes to the water usage, what they intend to do with water, yes, that will be disclosed. That is part of the rule set. We are not gonna hide that. That's gonna be transparent. It's gonna be posted. It can go anywhere from 30 days to 90 days. We're still working out that to get feedback from the customers. Hey, folks, what do you think? What's your take on it? You may see something we're missing. In the abundance of counsel is knowledge. So maybe you come up with something we didn't see. So that's part of the things we're planning to do.
The one thing this board really is working on right now, and I mean, it comes from y'all's feedback. I mean, a lot of people have said, well, they're gonna ask for 300 LUEs, and then they're gonna take 3,000, like a lot of people have said that, and we've read the same articles. So what these guidelines would do is like, well, you're gonna get what you ask for, you can't get any more. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, so we are working on that, we're working on the language, but this is a very new thing. There's not a lot of case law, and so it's hard for legal because, this is something that we're not really many people have addressed. And so we don't want to do anything that's going to invite a bunch of litigation, because then what's going to happen, and I've said it a million times, our water is too high. Our water's too high. I'll say it all day long. That's the whole reason I got on this board. I mean, because our water's too high. But, at the end of the day, when you're a board member and you look at the financials, it's a nonprofit company. And we are not for-profit company. I know that's hard to believe, but 80% of our expenditures just go to other companies. I mean, we have some staff, but 80% of what is just buying from all these companies. And when they go up, we gotta go up. And so you heard, it's interesting to hear the presentation today, how far we have to pump some of that water. That water is expensive because it pumps 100 miles, and there's, anyone who's lived in the county for any amount of time, there's groundwater in certain parts, and there is no groundwater in other parts. Right, then you couldn't get water if you drill 1,000 miles. I mean, there's just no water. I mean, so the water's too high, but we also don't want to put stuff in place that's gonna, the lawsuits, because what that's gonna do is raise everybody's water costs, because we're gonna be facing fines and litigation, and we have to pay these lawyers. And so we're trying to thread the needle as much as we can. It's complex, and there's consensus, but not total agreement. So we have to work all that out. And so it is a working process. And so I think it's important for this board to know that, the board wants everybody to know that we're not just really nilly just saying, oh, there you go. But we are working on things behind the scenes, but it's tough plowing right now. And we'll go into executive session and kind of hammer out more of the details. But it is under discussion. It's nothing that we would probably would pass tonight, but it's gone through committees, and it's legal's working through it.
And just open dialogue helps. We appreciate it.
I'm sorry, man. Well, okay, just one.
I mean, I get the vibes here that we're not entirely satisfied with these restrictions, like we are looking for actual denial of this whole thing. And if there's anything at all that we can do to convince you to do that, like we are willing to do it 100%. What I am concerned about, and I continue to be even more concerned the longer this meeting goes on, especially hearing this gentleman's presentation about just how far this water has to go to get to where we need it. That's a lot of risk. And a lot of us, all of us have experienced loss of water shut off because there's a leak somewhere, of this pipeline, of that pipeline. I cannot afford, because I unfortunately pay my water bills to you guys, I cannot afford to not have water, and I've been out of water for a week before. And I don't have a well on my property. I have animals that I have to pull water from you guys to water them with. I don't have, the creek does not stay full. I don't have any other means to water these animals. And I fear that we are inviting way more risk than we can justify with this data center, because as several people have said before, we lose water already. And then inviting this massive construction project that can only create more risk and the more potential for breakages and more trucks going this way and more trucks going that way. And then a leak somewhere in that facility that nobody's gonna know about, there's no humans in that building for who knows how long. I just don't see this as a wise investment by any stretch of the imagination. And so is there any possibility that we can still persuade you to just not even just stop it altogether?
If you want to help us, change the laws. Yes, well, T6, PUC, those are your targets. And of course, your governor, your representatives.
State representatives.
A denial we cannot do, not the way it's right now, not right now. It's, you've got to get the laws changed. I hear you, I empathize with you. I feel that the people that elected me, it's my duty to defend them, to protect them. That's why they elected me. But the laws are not written favorably right now. You gotta reach out to TSEC, you gotta reach out to PUC, you gotta reach out to the governor. Sid Miller is actually on board with this. He's a good guy in that regard, but you gotta change the laws. You've got to change the laws. If you really want to give us a hand, help us out there. Reach out to TSEC, go talk to them, go talk to PUC.
And we hear you, and it will come up, it's not on the agenda for this meeting, I mean, it probably won't be for.
Stage four.
We need time. We need time to do that. We need time to go talk to all these people. God knows Greg Abbott's not gonna let us just walk into his office. Like, we need time to reach out to all these people. By declaring a drought, stage 4 drought, you can buy us that time.
Buy time, yes.
So can we get your, at least information?
That we're gonna discuss. That we're gonna discuss.
Yeah.
All right, I'll sit down.
We'll leave you all the cookies. Please.
All right, Mr. President, section B, in regards to hydrants, is that on the agenda also? Because we had some changes on that.
We already did all that.
We did. That one was approved.
That was approved?
Yeah, we got that one approved.
Okay, then you've got some reds on this. Okay, I just saw some reds here.
Oh, I think it's done.
All right, good.
Yeah, it was based on.
It was done, what you wanted, right, Jennifer?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Taylor made.
Yeah.
Okay, very well.
For you.
Very well.
All right, well then, okay, then we're gonna come back to B1 and B4. After executive session. Let's go into something, let's go to something more fun. Let's go into 4C, employee recognition.
So, real quick, this is usually something we knock out relatively early, but again, for the customer base that was here, we wanted to get their drought stuff first. Employee recognition, we had our employee of the month, Johnny Kemp. He works under Brad in their operations in the leaks department. Brad, I don't know if you want to, I'm sorry, he's an operator now, but he started out as leaks. But just a hardworking individual. He lives from the district. He serves the district. And he's just, he definitely did what he needed to do to be recognized and deserves it very, very much so. As far as staff milestones, obviously, we had Miss Nancy Bells, one of our CSRs. She's out there doing great things. She's been here. She just hit her year mark. And then again, I've been here now 2 years, and man, that's gone by fast, and not in this role, obviously, until February, but I look forward to many more years here within Crystal Clear, but I did hit 2 years myself. And yeah, I had a daughter on April 7th, so other than that.
Let's go on to Board B, employee handbook changes.
Yes, I created 3 new policies and updated 1, and those were in the packet, so hopefully y'all read through. But the ones that were created were reimbursements mainly, and for reimbursements for and replacement costs, I guess replacement costs for PPE. We have a tendency to lose hard hats around here, and we have provided them over and over again. So we decided we need to maybe get a policy that employees need to start use those replacement costs. So PPE equipment replacement costs and uniforms. It's the same thing. We are charged, monthly, weekly for those. If they do not have all of them, we need to ensure that they're replacing that. And especially we have to have them sign something if we need to take that out of their final paycheck. Like when somebody leaves and we say, okay, bring all your uniforms back, and they don't have them. We're just stuck.
Alsco, or who are you using?
For uniforms?
Yeah.
Uniform services.
Service uniform. Yeah.
Sorry.
Service uniform. Yeah. Yes.
Do you need action on that, Jennifer?
I do need action because it's going to change the handbook. I'm going to have them sign those ones that were in the packet, but I'd like to just put it in the handbook going forward, and that way new hires, they just sign it and it's all there. The license reimbursement is, and for those of you that may not know that, we require them to get the D license in their first year for water. And then it goes on to they get wastewater, and then they move up. You cannot renew a D. So after 2-3 years, they have to have their C.
Yeah, so
Water.
and I just thought I meant to mention Johnny also got his D wastewater license. So that was another reason he was also employed. My thing is hitting me right now. But for the licensing, those courses do tend to get costly. I think when I first came into the industry, they were around almost $300 per course for a 20-hour course. Now, of course, as time's gone on, they're getting into the $400, $500 range, and they only get more expensive based off of the longer duration of the course. And if for some reason, again, we're pushing these operators or these employees to become licensed operators. So if for some reason they have to depart the company within the first 6 months, or month 0 to month 6, they'll reimburse or it's 100% of costs occurred back to the district. So in that way we can take that, because those classes will stay with them always. They can take those anywhere. Anything from 7 to 12, then it is a 50% cost. After 1 year, then there's no percentage incurred. But again, it's just trying to make sure that we aren't just hiring people that, we're educating them, we're trying to get them licensed up, and then for some reason we part ways. We have the ability to get something back.
So that's 1 year after they get their license?
No, it's 1 year after the date of the class. So like if they took a class in January, up in July, they would, or from January to June, it would be 100% reimbursed back to the district. So July to December, it would be 50%. And then after January, they hit their anniversary, then it's 0%.
But they would be with an active license for 1 year. So Crystal Clear would get the benefit of the license for 1 year?
So you have to, the way the licensing works, there's several class, like for a basic license, D license, it's only one class. It's either basic water, basic wastewater. They have to, that one has no requirements of time and service or stuff like that. It's once you start moving past that, then, as the higher you go up the ladder per se in the licensing, it's more classes required. So like for an A license, you have to probably take probably like 10 classes or 12 classes overall. So this is more so, this is designed to be after any point in time. So even if, if an experienced operator like Brad goes out and seeks another class, but for some reason within that same year time frame, the 0 to 6 and 7 to 12, if something happens, we still are able to recoup the money for the class, not so much the license.
Recoup it from the employee, I presume?
Yes.
Okay. So if he stays six months after he got the class,
After he completed
not necessarily the license, but the class,
yes, sir.
what's the gap between the license and the?
It depends. Like I said, you don't need any time, right away, want to get a basic D license. It goes D, C, and then B and A.
Except for us, we require it within a year.
Yeah, we require it, the basic Ds within a year because it just keeps us compliant as far as the TCEQ goes. And then, but as you get further down the chain in licensing, you have to also have time in the field and then what they call hands-on. So I kind of related back to the military, which is like time in service, time in grade. You have to meet certain requirements before you're able to test that. And then that's kind of under Brad's purview to ensure that he's keeping our operators licensed and ensuring that they are moving up in a way that coincides.
So the timeline starts on the class, not necessarily the license.
Yes, sir.
And so if they leave before the 6 months, they will reimburse 100%.
Yes, sir.
If they leave between the 6th and the 12th month, they
Have that. Yes, sir.
50%. And then after that, they don't reimburse.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right, and it states in the purpose that it's for professional licenses, certifications, or registration fees. So that's the same thing. We pay for them to go, we pay that $400 for them to go to class and then they leave. Whether they get their license or not, they're gonna pay us.
Good structure. I like it.
Okay. And so, that one, and then we have,
Sick and vacation.
yeah, the sick and vacation. I just wanted to make sure I did all the, yep, I did, okay. Sick, we of course have the vacation and sick leave. The only changes we're doing is we'd like for them to be in usage increments. We are getting larger for one, and when employees put in for 2.12, hours of something, because that's what they're short for, that 40-hour week or that day, it just gets a little tedious. So we'd like to move to increments of 1 hour for our sick time and 4 and 8 hours for the vacation time. And it just helps with productivity. It helps with them planning better and not just, oh, I'm going to leave early because I have some time. And so now I can ask for the 2.12 instead of, so it's just kind of holding them accountable for those things. So it's sticking with our same accruals. All it is saying, hey, now you have to take your sick time within an hour increments and your vacation within 4 or 8.
Just trying to get into the efficiency of it, so that way we have staff and then, that 4-hour increment provides staff, if there's to take that lunch time, they can come back, drop off, do whatever. So it's just trying to keep the efficiency.
More efficient. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Anybody have any questions about that?
I did just want to point out to you, just so y'all know, when I talked about that final paycheck, that's Texas payday law, right? So I have to have their signature before we can take anything out of a final paycheck. So that's why we need to do this.
I'm gonna move to approve all 3 of the policies and update the sick and vacation leave policies for today's.
I second it.
Second, Director Roscoe, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hey, for E, oh wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, for E, customer service inspection letters. Michael, before I give this to you, I do just want to say thank you. Thank you very much for this. I know I've said this in multiple meetings, but the worst thing that this company has ever done to our customers was this debacle last year with the customer service inspections. Basically, you send everybody a letter that says you don't get this inspection, and it could have been 20 years ago that you didn't get it, and we were going to shut your wife.
Yeah.
I think it's very important that the people know the board was not aware of that at all until our phone started making all things. And this place is under new management because of that. So we are fixing to send out a letter, and it was very important to me that this letter was worded in a certain way, and we worked with Michael. And I would just like to read the first couple sentences that it's going to say is, "Dear customer, we want to take to speak with you directly and clearly about customer service inspection verification process. Simply put, we made a mistake," because that's exactly what happened. It was terrible. It was terrible what we did, but we did what we could to rectify it after the fact. It wasn't perfect. But the silver lining is I think that we got Michael out of the deal. But I'll give it to you after.
Yes, sir. So the intent while it does remain within compliance and that is always at the forefront of our duty here as staff within the district. The way we went about it could have definitely been handled significantly differently, and that's kind of what this letter states to. What this is kind of going towards is we obviously want to, again, talking with you, sir, we want to own it because that's what we need to do. We need to own it. If when we make mistakes, we just have to have that accountability internally. So that's kind of what this states, and what it's kind of starting to state, and this is going specifically towards the CSI credit program. The board, again, did what they could, with the lemons and made lemonade and came up with that $100 reimbursement fee. If you met the requirements of a passing CSI, had the receipts, so on and so forth. What we're trying to do here is we want to put an end date on that, and we want to bring that back in house which is why, that was one of the other reasons we were looking for additional staff. And what this letter does is basically we're trying to get ahead of this as much as possible. So we want to end the program, the credit program, and align it with our ending of our fiscal year, which would end September 30th. And so that way we can take I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000 that we had put for that budget line item and put it back into something like O&M. And what we're going to do is, there's still a lot of work to be done to solidify what it looks like after the fact, but this is just putting this information out there as early as possible. And it's going to be sent individually. It's going to be posted on our Facebook, posted on our website. So that way customers understand that if they haven't got a CSI yet, they have up until September 30th to be able to receive that $100 credit. And again, still doesn't change the fact that CSIs are required for compliance. However, it brings it back into staff's responsibility to make it happen. And again, it's just, we've talked about, sir, in the Rules and Regs Committee, kind of addressing the specifics, but I think this is imperative to get this information out to the public as soon as possible. So that's what this letter is we're looking for an approval from the board to be able to send this information out.
Now, my understanding is they have till September 30th to go ahead and get reimbursed for the CSI. And then afterwards, customers that don't do it, which is going to be the vast majority, more than likely.
I think we're around anywhere, I want to say for some reason, 1800s, 18 to 2000 is kind of what's left out there. Outside there. Yes, sir.
We are going to conduct those CSIs in-house.
Well, our operators will be licensed, and again, it kind of goes back to the licensing and stuff like that. That's a 16-hour course that's required through the TCQ. That one doesn't have any time constraints to it. It doesn't matter where you are in your career path. If you walk through the day and you were hired tomorrow, you could go to that class the next day. Well, if it's available.
Our guys will handle CSI.
Yes.
Customers will not pay for that. We are covering that.
So that's a rules and regs thing. There are rates that are currently in our rules and regulations now. It would be something that, again, we bring to the committee. The committee, we work it out like we have on some of these other things.
I thought we had bounced that idea around.
Yes, sir, we have. But again,
we were going to cover the cost.
Yes, sir. Well, it's just that we need to do it like we need to get to that formal process. So,
but we are in agreement
Yes.
that we are going to cover that cost at the CSI.
yes, sir. I mean, again, it's whatever the board is going to approve. We will address it through the rules and regs committee meeting, and whatever comes out of that committee.
I just don't want ambiguity. I want to be
clear. And I don't want to. Yeah, and I don't want to say something that, again, gets taken for law, and then for some reason the board says, hey, $25, or I don't want to also put words out there in the other direction. I think, April, you got May, June, July, August, September, you got 5 more months to finalize, and that can be something that we can finalize as soon as the next Rules and Regs Committee.
Yeah. The sooner the better. Let's not leave it up in the air.
Yes, sir.
Kick it down the road.
So I signed up to speak on this topic.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. I'm a patient. So the CSI inspections, the letter says it's to get us into compliance. But wasn't it to get you all into compliance? Because y'all should have done the inspection before turning the water on.
Totally agree.
So based on that, if we're an existing customer and we got water, we don't really need a CSI. Because it's gonna be required by the board according to Texas Law 30 TAC 2.9.46J.
We're gonna
The
come out.
board has to do that.
We're gonna come out and do it for free.
I've already got mine. I got mine in 2018, didn't get a report. Got mine in 2023, didn't get a report. Got two of them in January of 2025, and I still haven't got those reports. All performed by Crystal Clear.
Michael's gonna see them.
So I was just trying to get clarification because the letter says you're helping us. In reality, we were helping you.
I think, Mr. Muth, I hear what you're saying. Ultimately, CSIs are for the benefit, one, for compliance, but two, to ensure that you're not putting the system or your neighbor at risk in whatever it is, it may be going into your property, whether it's a pool. I mean, we can go down the list of events where CSIs or backflow prevention is ultimately what the CSI is trying to ensure. So there's two things that the CSI accomplishes. It looks for lead and copper. It looks for lead, solder, because we know that is a really big problem with older plumbing, whether it's the copper tubing or just the older houses. And then two, it ensures that there's proper backflow prevention to your furthest connection. That is, again, this comes from backflow prevention is something that starts at the EPA level and works in the lead and copper rule, and it works its way down through the TCEQ. So I understand, your perception on that, sir. However, I think it's us doing what's required, one, to keep us in compliance. And as far as from the individual person that is having the CSI done, it's ensuring that, we're just being safe across the district.
So we hear you.
Yes, sir.
It's important. It keeps everybody safe. The way we went about it.
Yeah, and that's what that's what the letter's addressing.
I agree.
If I understood Mr. Muth correctly, he's saying this is for us, not for them. I think that's what he's saying. We need the CSIs to be in compliance. We provided the water. We weren't supposed to. So it's for us that we're doing this.
It's required by the state.
Correct.
Yes. So it's for the district. Yes.
We should have required it from them before providing service. We didn't. Okay.
And yeah,
That was dropped.
yeah.
But I
Right,
think
and the board made an effort and said, well, you guys do it and we'll reimburse you. But it wasn't a board decision, and the board hasn't brought it up and make a motion that says, do the CSIs on all our past customers.
we're going to be doing that.
That's what we're fixing to do.
Thank you.
So y'all gonna clarify what kind of backflow devices are going in those letters, because as a plumbing supplier and receiving customers on my end, I tell them backflow costs $400, watching them lose their mind for an actual LF007 and not a hose bib backflow.
I think a lot of that's going to be determined. A lot of that will be determined off the CSI inspection.
Should appear to be in our specs.
Yeah. Again, there is so many different versions of what that looks like. So it's hard to do that one. I'll cover all. The biggest thing that we just want to address is that, sticking to the letter, we'll get to the specifics. This is imperative to go out as soon as possible.
Thank you. That motion.
And then to approve the letter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely motion to approve the letter
And send it out.
and send it out individually. Yes.
Who's the recommended is, make a motion.
Second.
Oh, I think I used to be too. I expect a motion properly. Okay, Benavides and Patterson, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right. No, there is like, guys, have it. Yeah. We're gonna go to F. Blaming farms. WNSSA, fifth reading.
Sorry, that's a chuckle.
So I circulated before the meeting the original a copy of the original non-standard and the 4 previous amendments done. They've all been done for various reasons. Also, there's a sheet that shows that they have fulfilled their financial responsibility for that original non-standard. This Fifth Amendment will extend the term of this non-standard for an additional 2 years.
Never found it.
It's a one copy.
Yeah, it's a one.
Circulating the room. It's not in your packet.
Okay.
So no changes have been made to this except the time.
The 2 years.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
If you look at the Fifth Amendment, it's the original contract, I think goes back to 2021.
Okay.
This is when it first kicked off.
And the changes made are what?
It's the change in the term,
Just,
an additional 2 years.
okay, and they paid something for these 2 years, the additional 2 years?
They have not paid for the extension. They have paid and fulfilled all of their responsibilities per the original non-standard, which I believe is just shy of $1 million.
Okay,
There's no cost for the.
There's no cost for the extension
Because
itself.
they've paid everything to us.
Oh.
They're not behind on any of the stuff they,
just, I remember with Mayberry, he had to pay a balance, he had to pay something, what was the difference there?
you're catching me off guard, so I can't.
It was like $30,000 or $10,000. I think he hadn't paid towards anything.
Yeah, he hadn't paid.
That's the difference.
So what he paid was paying towards, not paying in addition
Yeah, so he
to?
pays a good faith effort or put skin in the game, and then we apply that to, say, his first water acquisition fee payment once his non-standard.
Okay, so what Mayberry paid was not an additional fee or
And
anything?
again, I don't have it in front of me, so I don't want to speak too direct, because I don't know for sure.
Something additional.
I'm sorry.
I thought he had paid something additional for extending it 2 years, which is why I'm perplexed. that they're
Yeah,
not
I
paying.
can't speak just off the top of my head, what that amendment says.
And it's,
And it's not on, it's agenda, so agenda, I got it all together. So I didn't drill it into my head like I did the Fifth Amendment.
That's the only question I have about that.
Anybody have any other questions about that? Do I have a motion on that one?
Move to approve the Fleming Farms WNSSA Fifth Amendment as presented and allow non-substantive changes.
I'll second. Director Patterson makes a motion. Second, Director Roscoe. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, you guys have. Okay, we're gonna go to G, budget amendment.
yes, and this goes with what was approved last board meeting when we asked for the additional new hires. And so y'all approved to get 3 new hires, so I just amended the budget to show for the different things like the health insurance, our payroll, our taxes, that kind of thing. So you have a 1-page sheet. I didn't print the entire budget again, but you have the 1-page sheet in your packet that shows you the difference. It was a overall 1.02%, increasing the head count. And so I showed there as well, we had a 19.15% increase from the 26 fiscal year budget to the, or from the 25 fiscal year budget to the fiscal year budget of 2026. Last year when it was approved, this bumps it up to 20.36. So just so you can see the difference, that it did go up a little bit from what was approved.
And there is an updated staff breakdown organizational chart. We still have 2 open positions. But we are having a lot of interest, but we do appreciate that. But again, like Brad stated, we do have a running count in the under 10 as of right now.
So there were 3 positions, 1 has been filled?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any more questions on that?
No, sir.
Have any motions? I'll move to approve the FY 2026 budget amendment as presented.
I'm second this.
Second, Benedict, any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's like the act done. We're gonna buy some goodies to pass out for Earth Day and all that.
So,
Do we have
yeah.
budget limit on that? or-
Yes,
Cause I did wanna get some, and I am gonna work that loop on Saturday.
All right.
yes.
Uh,
Yeah, I
so,
apologize. We put that in here. But we, and also what was in here is we took out the difference of the rate study to what the software that we're getting. So that is why it wasn't quite as much as we said it would be, like around over 300,000. It only came out to like 230.
and for that, sir, we obviously wanted to move forward on the employees, but that we did not want to. I have inquired and I have some quotes on like squeeze balls, pens, stuff like that. But that's the one area and until this got approved, then we would do something. So as far as for Earth Day this weekend, where we'll have a booth at in Seguin, it's just gonna be, we're just gonna stick to the nothing right now.
Wait, no.
We have handouts. Yeah.
TexasWater.org, they provide like free stickers, like recycle, things like that. So it's all water stuff and stuff, but not pertaining to Crystal Clear logo itself.
But,
So
you
my
know,
daughter was passing out fun stuff.
There'll be candy, probably. We always bring candy.
what I can't say though is what this is kind of working towards is again, we want to hand out the stress balls before we go through the 4th of July parade. So that way, as we're going down, people aren't, they're throwing softballs at us. But honestly, again, we just kind of wanted to go about it that way. Because again, we from the board and what yourself and several other board members agree that we can have a bigger footprint in the public's eye, no matter what we think it should be. But again, it's just putting ourselves out there. So we
There's
will.
fun like a scavenger hunt and but more pertaining to kids stuff, but yes, I do have things to hand out for that.
But we do very much plan to be out there. So a lot of that stuff will go towards the 4th of July and then the New Braunfels parade that if we get into the new as well.
All right, we're gonna go in for CRWA Board of Trustees, resolution appointing CCSUD trustee.
So, again, this is, I know we kind of filled it in already with Ms. Velasquez. She currently represents as the second trustee for the CCSUD in the capacity for CRWA. I think she's done a phenomenal job these last 2 or 3 months. And it's obviously up to her to see if she wants to continue that. And if not, then we could wipe that out and put one of the directors that is eligible to be on that position.
Let's say you, Director Velasquez. All right, I'm gonna make a motion that she keeps going.
Second.
Any further discussion? Just want to thank you, Director Velasquez. This is, we already dedicate so much time. This is something else you have to do, so thank you very much. So, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Going into CRWA Board of Managers, resolution appointing CCSUD Board of Managers.
So one of the subcommittees within the CRWA board is the Board of Managers. It's designed to be, ideally, it's kind of more made for the general managers or assistant general managers or operations managers. Taking on the role as a trustee, I don't want to take up too much of that, time, because there's time again that we put there as well, as for myself. And I think that it's a perfect opportunity, given the leadership growth that Mr. Johnson has been taking over these last couple of years, as our operations manager. I think, it'll be a great position. It's required to be renewed every May. And I think at this point, it would be great to have him take on that position. I would still probably attend for the first couple months, and I've had him attend a couple different ones with me already to kind of get what the gist of it is. But I think he'd be a great representation for Crystal Clear.
I agree.
Take a motion,
I do. Yes, sir. Motion to approve the resolution which will appoint Brad Johnson, Operations Manager, to the CRWA Board of Managers.
Motion by Director Leland.
I'll second that.
People have guys on that. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Yeah, Going into 4J, finance cash flow.
So this is just an update and it goes through, the actuals through February. And so it's been in the packet. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Just a little different.
You need action on that?
There's no action. No, it's just because the financials are the consent agenda. This is more about our cash flow. So.
Any questions from the board on that?
I've asked any questions.
All right, let's get move on. We're gonna move on to K, customer grievance update. Again.
Yes. So since last board meeting, which was February 26, 2026, there's been a total of 5 written grievances over several different subject matters, of course. 2 have been closed at the customer service level or customer service level. 1 was escalated to myself, and there's 1 pending right now that has not been closed yet. And then 1 escalated to general manager level that has been closed. So all of them have come to a resolution besides the 1 that benefit the customer in the district. Subjects go over leak adjustments, billing usage, auto payment, and right now the pending 1 is a multiple dwellings. So.
What happened to that the concern about a customer that paid $1,000 believing that was gonna be her cost for the meters? Later got told, oh no, that's just for the feasibility. If you want your meters, that'll be 50 grand.
That is pending, so I don't want to speak too much about it, but that is in my court right now. Responding to her and just kind of, I think it's a lot of misunderstanding, so I'm breaking it down so it's explained to her a lot better.
Could be, but let me tell you my experience back in the previous management. I had the exact same thing happen to me. I came in, I said, how much is this gonna cost? So first you gotta pay this feasibility study. And then what happens? How much is that gonna be? Oh, we gotta wait for the feasibility study to come back. Well, you can kind of give me an idea of how much this is gonna cost. Nope, gotta wait, we can't tell you. Well, it's either a yes or a no. So if it's a no, that's it. But if it's a yes, how much is it gonna cost? Well, we gotta wait. And they strung me along, giving me piecemeal information, how much it was gonna cost. And of course, it was a whopper at the end. Oh, here, so many grand for this. So I'm very, very inclined to believe that customer that she got strung along, given piecemeal information, instead of saying, look, this was gonna cost. If we can do it, here's what it's gonna cost.
And that's my goal, is to answer all of her questions. And that's why it's in my court right now. And it hasn't escalated to the general manager, but to answer those questions and be transparent and be able to tell her specifically what the process is and why she's in the situation that she's in.
Well, we're gonna be changing the rules and regs too. If a customer asks us how much it's gonna cost, we're gonna tell them point blank, whatever the scenario. If it's this scenario, that scenario, this is what it's gonna cost. None of this piecemeal stringing along thing, because I went through that specifically.
And a lot has to do, I'm sorry.
Yeah, a lot
has to do with training, training itself, training my employees to make sure that they have a full understanding of what a meter study process is, a feasibility study process is, and what it entails of what they're actually paying for.
Yeah,
I think the employee handled it as not a new employee. Recall the email correctly.
I hear what you're saying, sir. I think overall in the grievance process, what I can get across and what I can speak to is that issues are being handled sooner and faster. It's just, with the current rules and regs, it is going that process, and we're not trying to string her along, or we're not trying to, and slow mill this. We do want to provide factual information. And I think that that's a process that I think staff has demonstrated recently, that we've been able to provide the right information, factual information in a timely manner. And we've come to some resolutions a lot faster than what is in our current rules and regs. So I don't think it's necessarily a matter of whether maybe off your personal experience and what that customer's going through. But again, staff is handling it, and I think the process is definitely if and when the board needs to be made aware of any issues that if it doesn't get escalated to me and I'm not able to handle it, the board will be informed, and it'll be very thorough and very factual to explain the situation. So I think in this matter, I think Yesenia is definitely doing a great job, and her staff has done a great job in changing the narrative of customer service representation.
My concern as a board is eventually gonna find out after this is dragged out, which is kind of what Mr. Mook was talking about, that they shouldn't take that long to resolve this issue. She was led to believe it was gonna be $1,000 for the meters, then she got told 50,000. It's not that complicated. Why does it drag out that long?
Again, sir, without diving into that customer's information, staff is working very, very diligently towards a
Your
solution.
email told me that you would have something by this.
Again, it's letting it's going through the process and maybe we could speak to it, I don't know, in an executive session. Howard, does that want something, just because it pertains to customer information?
Well, I'm more concerned about whether it's, I mean, is it reported in your report?
No, it's more general because I don't speak to specific,
That it's not,
customer information.
that it's not agenda.
Yeah, so what the purpose of Miss kind of generalized briefing is just to give the board the higher end view of it.
What may potentially come in the future.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do. We want to de-escalate, because you remember previous management, boy, they escalated things, and of course, the lawyers were happy about it.
No, we're working on it, sir. Again,
Yeah, that's my job. That's what I have to do, de-escalate the situation. That's why I'm in the position that I'm in.
And that's why the board wants to be aware before it escalates. Let's resolve this. We're here to serve these people,
Mhm.
not to rip them off. We're here to serve them.
We all have the same goal as staff as well. So I think that that's why we've been able to show throughout these months and this, that I started this grievance update, that there are written grievances that are sent in that we can handle ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got to make it faster. So yeah, we'll address that on rules and regs to get faster answers.
And I will say, every single grievance thus far in the last quarter that I've seen has ended positively. And we have been kind, and I appreciate that, because that is our new motto. We must always be kind. And I think we have. And I think that we'll get this one resolved the same way. Any further discussion on that? All right, we're gonna go into L, CCSUD motto.
yes, sir. So, I presented the Rules and Regs Committee meeting and, of some, again, changing the culture, changing the narrative, kind of making that, that strong pivot, you know, as you reference, Mr. Benavidez previous, you know, everything's previous. Well, we don't like to, personally, I don't like to think in previous. I like to make those changes and move forward. I think staff has, and I think one of those things is providing a culture, and I've had internally, address some things to work with staff. And I had showed option one as basically a motto. And one of the things that I can say in listening to a lot of these customers and listening to what I did go to the commissioners court meeting, a lot of customers do talk about future generations. So I think when you look at a company that's been around since 1964, securing water, sustaining generations is a great, it encompasses what our mission here is as Crystal Clear Special Utility District, or formerly as a WSC and now as a Special Utility District. You had mentioned, Mr. Benavidez, about showing some options that show serving. I personally would love to go with option one, but I did want to provide the options to you. They are in a handout there as well, presented as a thesis handouts on some of these other options that would show other mottos. It's an extra handout. Yeah, it's right behind the organizational chart.
There you go.
I made sure to put one at everybody's desk.
Mr. Oscar.
He looked at it. So, again, I would love to go with option one, and it would be a slow rollout. I mean, we're not looking to go and repaint every tank. It's just, again, maybe future tanks even then, if not, but again, it's just giving that, working towards establishing that culture of what our job is here for the district.
Looks great.
Which?
I think option one's cool, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if we necessarily need a motion. I just consider.
It certainly can't hurt if
Yeah.
you'd like to.
I'd like to make a motion for option one, securing water, sustaining generations.
I'm gonna record you, sir.
I was just thinking that we can play that,
I'm
yes.
gonna take that recording off here.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
about securing water? So if we keep buying water, and we keep buying water, and we keep buying water, then we're gonna owe more money to people that we're buying water from. But we keep buying water, so then we can't say no to big water people. So if we stop buying water, we can finally say, we don't have the water. So that stops some of the growth, but we have enough water for us to drink.
Yes,
So I'm not sure about the securing water. Why?
So-
Maybe we should just stop buying water. We have enough water. And then we won't have to worry about not being able to say, no, we don't have any.
Go against our
Maybe we can just start
responsibilities.
selling water to other water people and then make money that way instead of making money on data center stuff or big water users.
yes, Ms. Tran.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yes, ma'am. I think I kind of look at it in a way, you know, if you go back to 1964, that's what Crystal Clear's been doing for the last 62 years, which is securing water to even get us to this point in 2026. So that's kind of the reference towards that. We know whether it's the development of a potential data center or if it's just development in general, we know that this is one of the fastest growing areas in not only the state, but the country. So for me, it's just ensuring that our stewardship as a special utility district is ensuring that there is water for our customers, not necessarily whether they're new, whether they're old, is just ensuring that we're securing that water. And again, so that way we can sustain future generations.
Okay, I kind of like the dependable water. So let's be dependable on.
And that falls under that there's some internal initiatives that we're taking to definitely, again, attack everything from water loss to customer service to accountability, transparency. Again, those are all things that we're actively working on.
Or quality water. So it's not polluted, so then we can deliver quality water.
I think it's Mr. Haiti.
Yeah.
Just options. Again, it's whatever y'all, I would love to, speak to option one, but again, it's up to the thing.
I can already foresee some vandalism securing water.
Yeah, it's, again, we have,
Most of the letters are already there.
So, yes, sir. So again, trying to separate this from, again, a very hot topic item. To me, this is speaking to the holistic of the district and what we're charged to do.
What about
Yeah.
option B?
I like option 3.
Trust me. That's what it's for. I mean, again, we can table this and I could bring it up next month. Yeah.
Consider it table.
Or
So you're not gonna have multiple pictures for your family.
just give them quality and so whichever one they like. Okay.
You know what we should do? Put it on Facebook and have people vote on it.
That's a good idea.
Let the customers decide.
Then they'll really start saying, changing what.
Comments into the show. Yeah. We'll look at it.
Gotta let more everybody else.
Well, I appreciate the, again, understanding the thought process behind it.
Director Patterson suggested, I think that's great. We should put it on there.
We'll look at it. Yes, sir. We'll definitely look at it, roll it.
That's a great idea. Okay, well then, do we want to go into 6 now, or do you want to do it after executive session?
You can take that over if you like.
Well, just because I think we're done with all 4, and so,
We are going back, but
Yeah.
I think what the president suggests is that we take out board member items, item 6, before we go to the executive session, which is.
yeah, I guess we can. I mean, it won't take long. So looks like the next meeting is May 28th. Is anybody okay with that? You know what? Well, that's actually Monday, right?
It is. Yes, sir. It's the week of, though, right? It's the week of Memorial
It's
Day.
the week before.
Right.
Weekend before.
Weekend before that.
Yes.
It's the weekend of Dallas.
Yeah, the May 20th.
That's the weekend of Dallas. Me and Director Velasquez are going to be in Dallas at the time, but you can make a quorum of that. That's fun.
For
I won't.
competition.
Yeah.
We're gonna be out too.
Because you're in Canada.
So if we go the Thursday prior, it would be the 21st.
And that's the weekend.
Looks like
That's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I'm going to the beach.
Okay.
14th.
So you'll be, okay, so,
We'll talk to you, Mr. President. It's just, I don't know, there's not a lot of time to really do. I mean, you want to bash into May or June.
Regulations.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry, you said you two are gonna be gone on the 28th. Okay, I'll be back by Memorial Day, actually. I was a little confused. I will be here for the 28th meeting. So we would have a quorum.
Okay, that's fine, yeah. Does everybody else, does it really just be two of us, Miss? Well, I don't know if Miss Cash would be ready to come back or not. So all four of y'all. Can come back.
Don't worry, I'll be here.
I'll be available. They're always available.
Okay, so did we settle on the 28th?
Yeah, that's fine. All right, 28th. And then, does anybody have any, items for future agendas? And if you do, just email me the comment. So. All right, well then, let's go ahead and, take a break before we go into executive session. So it's 9:01 right now. And so, let's think about that. English break.
So when this is all done, it's gonna show, it'll only show what's been recorded. So, even though it says 4 hours, not all of it's been recorded. But yeah, let me just let everybody know that this meeting is being audio visually and through audio being recorded.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, going back to item.
Does it need to announce the time?
Oh, sorry.
Announce that we're going back.
Oh, sorry. Going back into open session at 10:35 PM. And we're gonna start with item 4B. I'm sorry, 4B1, easement guidance policy. And I want to give this to you, Vice President Benavides.
Actually, since walking the droughts before that one, Howard, should that one go first?
Oh, yeah, well, yes, sure, that's fine.
I'm just trying to go down the top of the agenda to the
Yeah,
bottom.
absolutely.
Okay. 4A. Yes, we drought contingency and water supply ordinance.
As for the board, I mean, we discussed, either a motion to be made or table it or whatever y'all would like to, go ahead and.
4A. We're doing 4A, correct?
Yes, sir.
If there's no motion. Is there any motion or discussion on that, board? It's a not, it's gonna go into on the board.
Yes, I would say we table it for the time being, look at the table.
Tabled by Benavides. I second the motion. And, any further discussion? All right, all in favor of the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Two opposed. Okay, Director, Brandon, Director Patterson opposed. All right, item 4B1, easement guidance policy.
Correct. We did get some wordings changed on section E. 2C2. And we are changing, a couple of words. I need to read the whole paragraph.
Would you like me to just go through the changes really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, for purposes of.
Expediency.
Sure. Paragraph 13,
What time?
volume of water is going to be.
So we're doing by easement. Easement. So, Mr. Benavides, I believe the wording, was there an issue with the wording?
Do I have to read the wording?
No, you just,
If the wording is acceptable.
Yes, the wording is.
I guess make a motion to approve.
Yeah, okay, correct. I do like the wording, so we need to iron that out. With me.
It's on page 19.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read the motions. I thought, move to approve and update CCSUD's rules and regulations for easement guidance policy. We already deleted adjustment policy.
And the orders and tenants, so it's just number one, yes.
Just number one, correct.
So we have a motion. Motion by Director Benavides, do I have a second? Second by Director Patterson. Director Patterson. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Right, so the ayes have it. Moving on to item 4B4, large volume water users.
Okay. Changes to the large water users, paragraph 13. Volume of 10 million gallons per year has been struck, will now read 0.0275 million gallons per day. Section 13B struck. Section 13D struck, however, in its place, executed non-standard service agreements on public records. Moving on to page 2, section H, final approval of non-standard service agreement for large water users. Second to last line, approval of said NSSA requires a simple majority vote by the board of directors in public hearing. Section 13(1)A, strike fine, add surcharge in its place. Final section, section C, strike defined as committing a long-term violation. Section now reads continuing non-compliance may lead to the installation of water restricted devices and permanent suspension of water service sole discretion of the district.
Motion can be moved to approve the amendment of section F addition of paragraph 13 to end rules and regulations. Just help you out.
Again.
Yes, they are. Motion can be moved to approve the amendment of section F addition of paragraph 13 service to large water users and current rules and regulations.
I make that exactly.
What you said.
I second it.
Second Director Roscoe, any further discussion?
No, sir.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, let's look down that. And I believe that was all of our items, correct? We can.
The rules and regulations will be available as soon as,
I'm gonna check with them.
but I'm saying, but like here in the next couple of weeks, we'll get it updated on the website.
Oh, yeah, it'll be updated on the website.
Thank you, everybody, for being adjourned.